Okay, perfect. All right, so we got the recording started. We got everything looks good here. All right, greetings to you all. And like I said before, I appreciate you all showing up here. And if you don't know me, my name is Ricky Prestige. I'm a metaphysician. I'm also a public speaker as well as an author. I deal with subjects such as metaphysical topics. We go into the subconscious mind tonight. We're going to be talking about mind control. We're going to be talking about different methods that you can use that can help you as well. We're going to go into even subjects that a lot of people may be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'd like to say that first, because the subjects that we're going to be going into is subjects that you should know in order to be able to navigate through this world. The main way that we'll control is through ignorance. The main way that we're controlled is having a lack of understanding of the mechanisms that are being used against us. And this is not anything to just go into any government conspiracies. This is not that type of class. This is more so learning the mechanisms of your own mind. That's where we begin at. when when you think about one of the main things I named this was stolen greatness. I said wake up your stolen greatness, mind alignment, wake up your stolen greatness through mind power. And I felt like that was the perfect spot to begin with, because stolen greatness to me just equals just the things that's been taken away from us, that was instilled in us at birth, that we came here with as a birthright and should be able to use, but it's being used against us. That's where we shall begin. And before we always begin any of my classes, like I said earlier, I like to make sure that we begin with a meditation or begin with a breathing exercise. And that way, that'll kind of get you in tune and get you into the ready to get into the flow of the knowledge or the information that was going to be provided here today. So I got my singing bowl. I got my singing bowl for you all. And I don't know how it's gonna sound, with me with this mic on, but at the end of the day, the main thing is just to focus on your breathing. I hope that makes sense. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we want to just begin by taking a deep breath in and releasing. Deep breath in and releasing. Just releasing the things of the day and getting into a mindset of learning and understanding. Breathe in and release. Just continue to breathe in and release. Breathe in and release. We're just here to set the intention. I hope I'll be able to deliver what you're looking for tonight. And like I said, I begin this lecture or this webinar with stolen greatness. Stolen greatness to me means the aspect of ourselves that we came here with, our divine inheritance, the natural order of the universe, how the universe works. The things that we are born with, a lot of times we end up losing them. We lose that power that's within us, and this comes through several different methods. This can begin in childhood, because once we come to this earth, we're in a brainwave state where we're constantly soaking in the information around us. soaking in our language. We're learning our how other people act. We're learning morals of our society. We're learning how to fit in society. You know, your parents tell you we don't do that or we do this. You learn your religion. You start speaking the same way as the people around you. You start learning the same habits. Now, this is a good thing to learn if you're in an environment where it's actually pushing you and stimulating you. But if you're in an environment where you're not being stimulated or you're in an environment that lacks certain things, this can be a deficiency throughout life because that beginning point is our foundation. I hope that makes sense. That beginning point is the foundation. Me personally, before I learned about the subconscious mind, before I learned about changing my mind, before I learned about, oh, we have power within ourselves and we can reprogram ourselves and, be more powerful and get these things in our reality based on our perspective. We can change this. And when I first learned it, I was probably about 18 or 19. So I've been studying this going on almost 15, 20 years. To be honest, I've been studying this, and I wish someone would have been able to break it down the way that I'm going to try and break it down to you all in a mundane way of understanding it. That is my goal, to decipher these topics that usually are not mainstream and bring it into the forefront in a way that other people can understand, in a language that other people can get. So when I learned about the subconscious mind, I figured out, okay, the subconscious mind is what I need to tap into. I need to see what program I have been running on. I need to see what has been affecting me my whole life. And that's what I learned the subconscious does. The subconscious remembers it all. And we're going to jump into that as the beginning to explain first what the subconscious mind is. So I'm going to just share this quick little video with you. I want to just kind of let the class be a little bit more interactive here, or we don't have any technical difficulties. But let me share this with you real quick here. Hope you guys can hear it once it starts. Okay, maybe that didn't work that way, but let me see if I can open it this way. Sorry, guys. Well, it would do that to me. Okay. Okay. Well, we're just going to keep it moving from that because it looks like it's unsupported here, but that's fine. Okay. Give me a moment here, guys. I thank you for your patience with me. I thank you for your patience. I'm going to go ahead and jump this thing off then. Basically, what the video was going to discuss is that our mind is just like a computer program. Our mind is a program that can be ran off of new programs once we decide to insert these programs into our mind. See, everything, when I say program, I mean it's everything that we base our lives on. See, our subconscious is so powerful because it remembers it all. It remembers our childhood. It frames our reality based on these things that we've learned from other people and picked up throughout our lives. And then the next thing you know, that becomes your actual reality that you start to see on the outside. Say to yourself, just think of the times when you just notice yourself doing things that maybe your parents do. The older we get, the more we start seeing that we're doing some of the same things that our parents may have done. You may say some of the same things. You may believe some of the same things, but some of these beliefs are limited and some of these beliefs have stolen our greatness. Now, the society that we live in and the way that it operates, of course, it's harder to navigate through because we are constantly being bombarded with different things to try and make sure that they're able to get our attention. That's the main thing that they fight for, our minds and our attention. And when we get more into the class, we're going to go further into how that is done and how that can be used to benefit yourself. Because once you have an understanding of the subconscious mind, then you can use it in a way that is beneficial for you, the same way that they try to use it against you. That's the main thing that we're going to get out of this. So if we're looking at the subconscious mind, we have to look at the subconscious mind from basically what is it? What is the subconscious mind? We have two aspects of ourselves. We have the subconscious mind as well as the conscious mind. These are two distinct levels of mental activity that work together but operate in two totally different ways. The first thing I learned about was just the conscious mind. That's the only thing I had awareness of, the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the aspect of ourselves that, the physical things that we can see, the awareness. When you're listening to me at this time, it may seek into your subconscious as we go further into it, as you get more relaxed. But the conscious mind is the main part of the mind that controls the outside sensories, the conscious mind. So when we say the conscious mind, we're saying when we say the subconscious is the background that runs from the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the awareness. It's responsible for our current awareness. It includes everything we are actively thinking about or perceiving at any given moment. It's part of our decision making. It's the part of the mind that is involved in decision making, the logical aspect of ourselves, that willpower is where we make deliberate choices and analyze situations. But the power is really coming from the subconscious of how we make these conscious decisions, which we will learn. Now, the conscious mind has a limited capacity to process information. It can handle only a small number of thoughts at once, and it can only focus on immediate tasks and problems. So this can be limited. The conscious mind can be limited, but the subconscious mind, like we say, the subconscious mind is the background operation. That's that program that we said. When I mentioned program, that's what I mean by program. It's that background operation system. Just like you see a computer, you see this screen here, or you see your phone screen, but behind that, it is operating systems that are rolling. What makes up these operating systems? Those experiences, those things that we learned when we were younger, those things that we learn even when we get older. These certain traumas can be indented into the subconscious. So that's why it's important to know the conscious is limited, but the conscious plays a valuable role in our everyday lives and it helps us navigate. But the subconscious is the background. So the main key here of unlocking your stolen greatness is looking into that subconscious and seeing what is there, what is holding me back, what programming am I running on. And once you have an understanding of that programming that you're running on, then you realize that, hey, that's what it's been this whole time. That's what it may have been the whole time that may have kept you limited. I just want to make sure y'all still with me. Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? I might get my lady to break out in song just to break up the vibe a little bit, just break out in song for a moment. But I just want to make sure y'all still with me. We sounding good. Everything making sense so far. Just let me know in the chat. Just let me know in the chat. I'm gonna keep going in though. I'm gonna keep going in. So if we looking at the subconscious mind, we looking at the background program. We looking at the background program. What made this? What did someone say to you when you was 8 years old that stuck with you until you were an adult? You know, I mean, we going this deep tonight. What trauma may have happened at that age that may have molded you as an adult? But the good news is you can change it. You can change the program. You can flip the script because you have ways to get inside that subconscious mind to reprogram it, and that's what I hope to get through tonight. So let's keep going. Let's keep going here. Okay, so the subconscious is the background operation. The subconscious mind also operates below the level of the conscious awareness. It manages automatic processes like breathing, heart rate, and habits. It's the key word, habits. Heart rate, breathing, and different things like that. That's why that conscious breathing that we just did plays such a valuable role. You consciously were breathing, you were consciously paying attention to your breath while you were doing that. But the subconscious is what controls this naturally when we're just walking around. We're breathing, our heart is beating, all these different things are happening that we're not thinking about. We don't think about these things. These things just happen throughout the day. And that's being operated by that subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is seen as a storage unit. It's seen as a storage unit, just like I'm going to keep using these different examples so it will make more sense on what the subconscious is. Just like this phone, you have a storage unit. You have things that are stored in here in my cloud, in my iCloud. The subconscious can be looked at as an iCloud. That it keeps all those things. You might not see it in the forefront of your videos here when you looking for a certain video. You might not be able to see it, but if you click it, you'll go into that cloud storage and you'll be able to see, okay, what's back there? What have I saved? What have I stored? That's how you can look at the subconscious mind. It's a vast storehouse of memories, experiences, and learned behaviors, often from childhood. Now, this both includes the positive and the negative experiences and the beliefs and the behaviors. So that's why I say, like, that's why it's just so important to see. Sometimes you have to clean out your storage. That's what that video was going to go into a little bit more. That video was going to, it was just a little 2 minute video, but it was just going to basically say like how our mind is just like a computer that stores information. The conscious mind is for the day-to-day awareness. I'm just going to go back on that. The conscious mind is for the day-to-day awareness. The subconscious mind is the background operation in the storage and the storehouse. The subconscious mind is also closely linked to our emotions. It influences our feelings, our fears, and desires without our direct awareness, often, often guiding, here we go, guiding our behavior based on past conditioning. Based on past conditioning, like we said. So if something happens today in your world, you're going to react off of it based on conditioning, based on the subconscious. So let me just give some examples. This happened to everybody. This happens to me. This happens to anybody. Let me just give an example. Let's say if you had your heart broken. We all have. Say you went through a certain thing with an individual. Now, when you go out in the world, when you see a sign of that, and it might not even mean that, but when you see a sign of that, you may react the same way. Oh, this person trying to play me. Oh, I know what this is. I already have an understanding. And you will begin to see it more and more in your world because the subconscious doesn't have a bias to your negative experiences. It doesn't have a bias. It's going to give you whatever you give it. It's going to give you whatever you give it. So if your past conditioning is your heart been broken, or or you could see it in people. You could just listen to people and you can hear their subconscious, what they think about money, what we think about ourselves, what we think about our bodies. So the key to change, and you may say, why I learn this? Because the key to change is stored in that subconscious. It's stored in that subconscious mind. It's stored in that deeper programming of yourself, because that's what makes up our day-to-day way that we navigate through this world. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So the subconscious, unlike the conscious mind, the subconscious can process vast amount of information simultaneously and can guide our actions without conscious input. A perfect example of that is like driving a car on a familiar route. Some things you just do without even thinking about it. If you play games, or if you got a job and you have a system, once you do that system enough, you start unconsciously doing that. Once you start playing that game enough, I know when I was younger, when I played games, I used to be like, okay, I press these buttons. You know what I'm saying? So after a while, I know exactly what to press. I'm getting better at it. I'm faster. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking about something totally different. That's the way the subconscious mind works. Once you imprint something in there enough, it begins to be automatic. It goes past that conscious awareness and those fears and those different things that come up when you first start playing a game or when you first get a job. Your conscious mind is, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Then you do it over and over again, which we'll talk about how repetition plays such a role in reprogramming the subconscious mind. That's when we go into the affirmations. And that's the next part of the subconscious mind, the programming. The subconscious mind can be programmed, and it can be programmed through repetition, repeating it. Like I just said with the game, you press the buttons enough, it becomes embedded in that subconscious. See what I mean? It becomes embedded in that subconscious. Same way that our thoughts work, same way that our minds work. If we hear something enough, and that's when we're going to go into the mind control and different things that I'm going to talk about further into it. But we got to have an understanding of what the subconscious even is in order to understand mind control and dark psychology tactics that people use on day to day that influences us. So if we don't know what how our mind works, our subconscious mind works, we can never understand when we being programmed or when someone's trying to use it on you. Even day to day normal people. I'm not talking about just like a big secret society or a conspiracy to this. I'm talking about people in authority. But like I'm going too fast now. Let me slow down because I was going into what we'll go into further. But I want to make sure. Sorry, make sure that we have an understanding of the subconscious. So the subconscious mind can be programmed through repetition, through emotional impact, or sustained focus. Now this is which is why affirmations, which we'll talk about, subliminals, which I love, subliminals, and visualization techniques are effective in shaping our behavior and our beliefs. You hear people say affirmations, they keep just saying it over and over again. They keep saying the same things over and over again. Those affirmations will eventually, with that repetition, will get instilled in us. When you were a child and your parent might have said something to you, might have hurt you, you might have been emotionally impacted by that. That was in your subconscious. You might have heard something about yourself. Now, if it's positive, that's good. You might have heard that you're the smartest one, that you're pretty, or you're handsome, or these things, and you walk with that confidence because that's your belief system of yourself. Until somebody tells you something different, until somebody hits you hard enough, where that subconscious belief you have has been changed. And that can happen at any time in life, and that can happen as an adult. And we go through so much, but we never realize how much these things are still affecting us, even though they're not happening at that very moment. Even though they're not happening at that very moment, that's how real it is. That's how real it is. And if you like if you more so like a visual learner, I'm sorry, it just looks like the system went out here, but hopefully you can keep up with me just speaking here. And like I said, I'm going to give you all this information in a email after the class that you'll be able to look at what I'm basically reading or looking at myself. Okay, so now that we got now, okay, we at 7:30. So just quick recap what we've learned so far. We went into the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, basically the differences between those two, and what the subconscious is. It's powerful. It dictates how we dress. It dictates how we wear our hair. It dictates how we raise our children if you have children. It dictates the way that we look at friendship. It just dictates the world because it's our processing system. So the key difference is between the conscious mind is aware and deliberate, while the subconscious operates automatically and beneath our awareness, unless we do things like we're doing now, which is learning about it. Control. We have direct control over our subconscious mind, whereas the subconscious mind often controls off of automatic responses and behaviors. But you can reprogram this and program it into the behaviors that you're looking for. That's why habits are so hard to break. That's why learning new things can be hard, learning new languages. But once you keep doing that repetition, then it embeds it. See, repetition is one of the main ways to sink into the subconscious mind, and emotional is another way. Emotional things, adding emotions, usually traumas, to be honest, can seek into the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is logical. The subconscious mind is more so emotional, associative, and operates in parallel to the conscious mind. That's step one. So we got one part of the lecture done here, where we're going into it. So now let's keep building. Any questions? Any questions so far? Anything need to be said? Because I'm not really looking at the camera here. Any questions? Anything needs to be said? Everybody on the same page still? Let's loosen up. Let's loosen up. Let's loosen up. I know we talk about some deep subjects, but let's loosen up. Let's loosen up, family. All right, so let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Hey, Akima. Okay. I'm excited. I like to teach these type of things because I'm just gonna be honest. Before that, before I knew I had power over my own mind, I couldn't do none of this. I wouldn't believe in myself. I just want to give some examples to let you know how real it is, because I wouldn't be able to talk on social media the way that I do. I wouldn't be able to gain all these followers and these different things. I would have never believed it, because the main thing that used to come in my mind, like, who are you to do that? The programming that I had, I remember my parents just, oh, you got to be smart to be that kind of individual. You got to do this to be rich. You got to have these things. And it's so low level programming that we've been given, that we live our lives in that programming system and never be able to get out of it. People will never get out of their foundational program. Some people will never get it. You're gonna get out of it because you learning about it. You're gonna get out of it because you're getting an understanding, because you stepped up to your power and you even spent money to learn these things. Some of this is going to be freestyle, and some of this is just me coming for the moment. But you're going to be able to have that ability to navigate through your subconscious, because you're learning about it. But me individually, I just remember depressing thoughts that just would run through my mind. Not saying that I was depressed or down, but second guessing myself, hearing my parents' voice. That's your first teachers, your parents, and they don't know no better. Some of them did things to us. They don't know no better. They human as well. They a victim to this mind control that we're gonna talk about later. They're a victim to the programming just like we are, and they teach it to us, and we embed that. Now, some people have the ability to come out blessed, but everybody's gonna be affected in some type of way in this world that we live in, just based on the way that it's set up under this system. But once you know the tactics, you're able to navigate through it. So once I realized these things about my mind, I started paying attention to the things that I looked at. I started paying attention to the things that I said about myself. I started paying attention to the people that I was around and the things that I would let seek into my subconscious. But if you just letting it go and letting whatever hit, then you're going to be bombarded with those things. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But one of the first books that I ran into once I began to go on this journey of the subconscious mind or learning these different type of beliefs was Joseph Murphy's The Power of the Subconscious Mind. The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. That's going to be a book that I'm going to send you PDF file. It's an ebook so you can read it yourself. But I'm just going to go through the key points of that book so you can get an understanding of that power. It's one of the more. It was came out in like 1938 or something like that, like in the early 30s. But it's so powerful because it's one of the first books to go into the subconscious or name it or use that name because it's other names that is used throughout history. Oh, that water good. Okay. So that's where we're going next here. We're going to go into this power of the subconscious mind. So the power of your subconscious mind by Joseph Murphy is a work that explores the immense power of the subconscious mind and how it can be harnessed to improve aspects of life, including your health, including wealth, including relationships, and including your overall well-being. Like I said, the subconscious is the foundation. So once you change that, your world changes. Once you change your subconscious, your world changes. And we're doing it automatically, but people aren't aware that they can consciously change it. You're gonna do it automatically based on living life. Because living life, you're gonna have experiences. But when you start going in and start dissecting your subconscious and start seeing what's going on, then you start bringing in new aspects of your life and new realities. So the power of the subconscious mind. So the concept is the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful and it governs most of our thoughts, actions, and behaviors. It can be programmed through thoughts, beliefs, and repetitive affirmations, like we were saying before. This is coming from Joseph Murphy's book. This is the key quote that he uses to show the power of the subconscious. The subconscious mind does not argue with you, it accepts what your conscious mind decrees. If you say, I can't afford it, your subconscious works to make it true. If you select a better thought, decree, I'll buy it, the mind will accept that as well. Let's repeat that one more time. Let me repeat that one more time because that's key. The subconscious mind does not argue with you. It accepts what we give it. So if we say something over and over again to ourselves, that becomes true to our subconscious. But we can select a better thought. And that's where the change comes in at. We can select a better way of viewing ourselves. We can select a better way of viewing our realities. So part two of it, the law of belief. So in this concept, Murphy emphasizes that whatever we believe with conviction becomes our reality. Our beliefs, whether positive or negative, shape our experiences and our outcomes. Shapes our experiences and our outcomes. So here's the key quote from the book. As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and your environment. As you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and your environment. So whatever we put in our subconscious mind, we're going to eventually reap those things. The main power I want for us to learn here is the ability to be able to change that, the ability to be able to go within ourselves and begin to change that through affirmations and things of this nature. And we'll talk about this more as we keep going here, but I want to talk about this briefly because it was in the book. So they talk about visualization and mental imagery. So visualization is a powerful tool for influencing the subconscious mind. By vividly imagining a desired outcome, we can bring it into our reality. Now, let me explain that a bit before we go on here. Let me explain what that means. Before you do something or before you do things, see, our mind doesn't have a way of deciphering if it's really happening or if we're just using our imagination. Let's say if you think about something right now, you could think of an experience of the past and you can almost automatically still feel it. You could think of a time, you could think of a trauma or sometimes somebody hurt you or something happened. Let's go in a different direction. Let's think of something positive, a positive time that we had in our world. And you can feel those emotions behind it. You can feel like you still there. If you go focus in your conscious mind, if you go further enough, you can still feel like it's happening at that moment, because that's what visualization is. And since we can't decipher between when we're thinking of something positive, I mean, since we can't decipher from when something is actually happening, and this is science has proven this, when things are actually happening and when things aren't happening, that the same parts of our brain fire off. So let me give you an example. So let's say someone is imagining, they did a test where someone was imagining that they're playing the piano, and the same parts of their mind or their brain, let me say the brain, so the brain is the tangible aspect, that's the wiring, that's the neurons, that's the synapses, that's the different things that's firing off, that's the objective aspect, the brain. So when they look on, when they put these machines, these MRI machines on the brain, while people are imagining doing things, people imagining running, the same things are firing off in the mind. I mean, in the brain, the same neural pathways, the same neurons are firing off as if we really outside running. So you can use that to your advantage. You can use that to imprint your subconscious before something happens. Some of the greatest people that have done things in reality, they visualize it before they do it. If you look at athletes, if you look at sports, if you look at Michael Jordan, if you look at Kobe Bryant, or if you hear any of these things, they like to practice meditation. And within their meditation, they also like to practice visualization. So with this visualization, they would see themselves already playing. They would see themselves scoring. They would see themselves or the ball already going into the hoop. That's how powerful visualization can be for you. So when you so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that now while we here. So how do you visualize? How do you visualize properly? The main thing is taking your brain into that relaxed state. How do you do that? You do that through that conscious breathing. You do that through meditation. You do that through sound waves, and you take your brain out of that conscious awareness of moving around and doing things and trying to figure everything out to that relaxed state, which we'll talk about, which is the hypnotic state. And you can then use visualization and see what you want to manifest. People are always talking about manifestation. These are the key components to manifestation. Visualizing the thing before it even shows up in your reality. Visualize yourself in that car. Visualize yourself already having the money. Visualize yourself already having the whatever you might be going for. Whatever you might be going for, see it in your mind before you do it. And this is scientifically proven that the same things are going to fire off and you're going to feel those same emotions. What we say seeps into the subconscious, the emotions. Also, what we say seeps into the subconscious, repetition. And the other aspect of the subconscious is imagery. It's imagery. And that's what we'll learn about, how they use that to control you. But you can use it to your advantage. Everything that they're using to control can be flipped, because that's your divine greatness. That's what I mean when I say stolen. They're using techniques that are really used, that you can use to be able to change your reality. So visualization and imagery. And this is all coming from Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. This will be given to you. But visualization, this is the key quote from the book. You must begin to think of yourself as becoming the person you want to be. Envision that person that you want to become. See those things that you want to do before they come. The next way to go into the subconscious is through positive affirmations, like we were talking about before. When we're using repetition, it's another way to seek into that subconscious. That repeating of positive affirmations helps to reprogram the subconscious mind, and it can replace some of the negative beliefs with empowering ones. This practice can lead to significant changes in one's life because your subconscious mind takes the orders you give it based upon what you continue to speak to it. But a lot of times we don't consciously do this. We let others do it. We let society do it. We let our childhood do it. And then we operate off of that. The subconscious also has healing powers. So the subconscious mind has the ability to heal the body and resolve physical and emotional ailments by focusing on health and well being. I was talking to my lady yesterday, and she was saying that she called the doctor's office, and one of the things and it's funny that they're starting to accept this way of thinking, because on the answering machine in the office it said if you think negative, don't think negative because it'll make the pain worse. Now this was in the actual Medical College of Georgia answering machine. You think those negative thoughts, it will make it worse. Why is that? Because our subconscious is going to give us what we keep thinking about. If we constantly think we're in pain, if we constantly feeling pain, if we constantly believing that's where we're supposed to be at, those are the things that's going to show up in our reality constantly. And the body has a way, the brain has a way of releasing certain chemicals that affect our health, that affect cortisol being one of the main ones. They say the main killer is stress. So much stress being released, that cortisol being released, those stressful thoughts, those stressful, chaotic way that the world is moving, it can have a drastic effect on our health, and it can lead and manifest into other things and other ailments in our reality. Now, none of us are 100% away from being sick, you know what I mean? But you can be healthy or healthier based on the way that you're thinking. And I'm telling you, they are using this more and more in science. But we've known this in metaphysics and other psychological ways. We learned this for centuries, from the test of time, from the beginning of time. This has been known, especially when you're dealing with magic. That's all magic is, using your subconscious to bring something into existence. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I hope you're still with me. I hope I'm not boring you. I hope I'm not this class. So, we still going in. We still there. So just to kind of recap, we talked about the subconscious. We talked about the conscious mind. We talked about the different ways that this is used and how you can use it yourself. And we're also now on the power of the subconscious mind by Joseph Murphy. Let's keep going. So the subconscious can be used as a way to heal oneself. It can be used as a way to heal oneself. The key quote that he used in there was, the law of the subconscious mind works for the good and bad ideas alike. This law, when applied in a negative way, is the cause of failure, frustration, stress, and unhappiness. However, when your habitual thinking is harmonious and constructive, you experience health, success, and prosperity. But that's the programming. That's changing the programming. Now, the next part that Joseph Murphy goes into is the role of faith. Now, faith is a fundamental component in harnessing the power of the subconscious mind. Believing in a positive outcome, even without immediate evidence, can lead to its manifestation. So having that faith, and that's why I always say it's good to kind of keep some of the things that you are really trying to do to yourself. Make this an individual journey. Make this an individual the self-discovery of yourself and your inner thoughts to be able to navigate through the world. But when you I'm sorry, but when you use but when you have other people in your mind or in your ear, you know, those things can throw off your harmony. You can be out of harmony because they can be adding things to your subconscious, especially if they're saying things and they know you. Like, let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about that for a moment. Like, the authoritative figure can say something to you and it can discourage you all the way. Let's say your mother say something or your father say something or somebody that you really look up to say you can't do it. That can discourage you and make you never wake up that dream because it embeds your subconscious. It has an emotional reaction because it's somebody of authority telling you that you can't do it. And that's something we got to fight as an adult because a lot of us have been subjugated to these negative thoughts. And like I said, it's not always their fault. They didn't always mean bad. They was taught the same way. But sometimes, hey, they got to deal with what they giving you, and you have to realize that I don't have to listen to that. I don't have to. I have to listen to my own subconscious. I have to have my own way of imprinting my own mind. That's something that I learned. That's why I'm quiet with certain things that I do until it's done. Once it's done, oh, we can do whatever because now I've accomplished it. But when you're in the process of doing it, keep it to yourself. Keep your visualizations to yourself. Practice your mental imagery to yourself. Practice your affirmations to yourself. And eventually you'll build up enough where whatever somebody say, it won't even affect you because you're so strong in the mind. That's what we're trying to learn here. We're trying to learn how to be strong in the mind so you can navigate through it. You feel me? Other people can easily have an influence on us, easily, and especially if they're of authority. I can't wait to get into the mind control aspect of this, but I got to just keep going with just what the subconscious mind is and how it works in order for us to even know that. But like I say, the role of faith. So having the faith, your desire is in your prayer. And when I say prayer, you know, this is up to you. I don't like to get into those subjects of how you look at prayer, but me personally, I do pray. I do pray to a higher source. I believe in God. I believe that God plays a role in our life. Now that's up to you if you want to go there, if you want to believe that. But I do pray. I do still have that aspect of my journey. It's me acknowledging that it's something higher than me that may play a role in my reality. This is not religious based. This is not to say that you have to do that, but it does play a role in my world, and it does also take me into a mind state of being able to manifest, you know, being in that calm state. It's just something about it. I might go outside and ground myself, you know, put my feet in the grass and, you know, pray to the look up at the sun and have the sun rays coming down and basically just acknowledge the knowingness of something bigger than me, something bigger than me. But yeah, that's up to you if you want to take that aspect of it though. But I do it on the regular here with it. It still works for me. I pray for protection. I pray for all type of things. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be religious, and that's why it's been tainted so much that people don't even realize that these are metaphysical principles that have been around here with it. But yeah, your desire is in your prayer. Picture the fulfillment of your desire now and feel its reality, and you will experience the joy of the answered prayer. That's the basics of it. So over number 7, another component to the power of the subconscious mind by Joseph Murphy, overcoming fear and negative thoughts. See, fear is one of the strongest emotions that embed the subconscious mind. Man, when we scared, we can't do nothing. When we in fight or flight mode, even if we in fight mode all the time, we in fight or flight mode, it's a wrap. And one of the main things that's being used to control is fear. Fear is the main thing that keeps people believing in certain religions or believing in certain things, or being scared of your parents, or being scared of what the world will think, or being scared of what others might think of you. That fear can kill you. That fear can take away your desire in your heart and in your mind and make you never do anything and just use, just take it life for how it is. Carl Jung said a lot of people are caught up in their subconscious mind and think that it's fate. They think they're unlucky. You look out at the world, you say, hey man, how that person doing all of this and I'm not doing all of this? And a lot of times when we say that, we saying that because we think that we unlucky. We think it's really us, but it's really that cycle of thoughts that's keeping us keep it's a cycle, it's a loop of negative thinking, and it just keeps showing up and it keeps showing up, and it shows up in different bodies, it shows up in different relationships, it shows up in different scenarios, it shows up in different people, because we are still thinking that. But in our minds we just say, oh, we just unlucky. Why that person keep getting everything they want? That person believe in themselves. You might believe that person is evil or whatever you might think about that person, but that person is using their subconscious to create the reality that they desire, and you can do the same. You can do the same. But we're gonna get what the subconscious is gonna give us whatever we input it with. A lot of people say, I'm in my ego. A lot of people say I'm overconfident at times, but I'm really doing that, and I really have this confidence because you have to have that in order to be able to push through all the things that's there trying to stop you. I hope that makes sense. And if I'm yelling too loud, I'm sorry, y'all. But I sometimes I get passionate about it, and that's me just freestyling it because I can feel this, and I know that this can change your life when you have this understanding of this. Okay, but yeah, that's where we were at with it. So we talk about overcoming that fear, and negativity can block the positive influence of the subconscious mind by replacing these with you can change this by replacing these negative thoughts with positive thoughts and affirmations. One can overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. You can overcome this by imprinting new thoughts into your mind. And at first, when you hear affirmation, it's not going to sound good. You're not going to believe it. When you first start this, it's still going to your mind's still going to say, who do you think you are? And you're going to always have that background voice that's going to be there because it's part of your programming that you've been on. But once you stand up to it, and once you start eliminating that negative self-talk, then you begin to hear it less. You start hearing it less. Your dominant thoughts start becoming those positive thoughts. If your dominant thoughts are the negative thoughts, what is it? Depression, right? So when you're depressed, what is the main thing that's happening? What are most people suffering with when they have mental health issues? Their thoughts, their mind. Their thoughts are weighing them down. Their thoughts are just telling them all these crazy things about themselves, and then they believe it, and then it's just wearing your body down. You start feeling it in your body. You can't even get up. You're tired. Where's that coming from? That's coming from those negative thoughts, and that's coming from that subconscious, and that's weighing on your body in your vibration as well. But we're not talking about vibration tonight. Vibrate so high, if you know about it. Vibrate so high. But this how you vibrate high, by changing your subconscious thinking and knowing that it's not going to always be positive. That's one thing that I teach that a lot of people don't teach. A lot of people teach that it's all going to be peaches and cream and everything's going to be positive and peace, love, and light. No, I teach you about the other aspects of it because I know it's real. It's real things that's going on, and it's real things that's happening in each and every one of our lives. And it's hard to, you're really being disassociating yourself from the negativity when you're just always thinking that everything's going to be positive, and you're using that positive vibes only. They're good, but you got to go into that shadow. You got to go into that deeper aspect of yourself in order to really be able to make a change. A lot of people are um, masking themselves with toxic positivity. We going in now. We going in now. We going in now. We going in now. I hope y'all still with me. I hope y'all still with me. I see y'all looking lovely in the crowd there. I see y'all looking lovely in the crowd. I hope y'all still with me. Let me know in the chat if you're still with me. Just say yes, sir. Let me know if there's some good information so far. Just let me know. Just let me know if there's some good information. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all, beautiful people. Salute to y'all, uh, stepping up to your power and going into your stolen greatness and taking it back. Let's keep going. Now, like I said, I was going to go into. We pretty much got a basics of the subconscious mind and what it is capable of and what it's all about. You know, it's a connection between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. You know, your subconscious mind controls the vital processes of your body and know the answers to all your problems. It's already within you. It's already within you. Now, let's go into wealth and success. Now, wealth and success are achievable by programming the subconscious mind with thoughts of abundance and prosperity. Believing in one's ability to succeed is the key to manifesting wealth. Now, I know that's hard to hear because I still fight with that. I'm still trying to get my money up. I'm still trying to get certain things up with myself. You can even tell how I said it just then. I doubted myself then, just being honest. I'm a real person. But what I do know is everything changed when I changed what I believed that I was capable of having. Felt like certain things would never happen because of the way I've been raised. And, you know, if you're around people that ain't got money, if you're around situations where there's no money there, then that's what you're going to believe. You're going to say, oh, that person's just lucky. But ain't nobody lucky. Some people was born into better situations. I will say that. But there's nobody lucky. We all creating our world based on our thoughts that we thinking on a day to day, and based on if we gonna allow those old negative thoughts and those old programs to still seep inside of us and still control the way that we move. But wealth is of the mind. Success is of the mind. Abundance is of the mind. This is all coming from Joseph Murphy. This is all coming from Joseph Murphy. The power of prayer, he goes into that as well. Murphy views prayer. Now, this is a good way to break it down since we're going back to that. Murphy views prayer as a form of communication with the subconscious mind. Effective prayer involves feeling the reality of the desired outcome and believing it's already accomplished. So he's saying believe prayer is just pretty much like visualization and feeling like things are already accomplished. Me personally, I like to acknowledge a higher source or something that's going to help me to even get it to even manifest these things, to see the things that I can't see, to protect me from the things that I can't have an understanding of, to walk with me. That's what I believe personally. That's what I believe in his work so far. Prayer is the soul's sincere desire. Your desire is your prayer. It comes out of your deepest needs and it reveals the things you want in life, but not begging. Not begging. Once again, not begging. That's what we were taught in the church. Please let this happen. Please. No, saying it with assertiveness. The all. I know you are with me, and I know I shall accomplish these things in my reality. With your help, I shall become this, this, and that. Whatever you want to do, like however you want to do it, just make sure that it's positive and make sure that it speaks to your soul. You want to put a deity there, that's fine, but I typically don't do that. I believe in an all powerful source. Okay, well, let's keep going. So the next thing is auto suggestion. Now, the auto suggestion is the process of feeding the subconscious mind with positive thoughts and commands, which can lead to profound changes in behaviors and circumstances. So, auto suggestion goes into those affirmations, those visualizations, those suggesting things to your mind consciously suggesting those things to your mind, making it cause change in your world. Now, the key quote from that is all of us are living in an infinite ocean of thought. Our thoughts are vibrations which influence other thoughts in the universe. Now that there, let me explain that a little bit more. So what he means by that is our thoughts are have vibrational frequency. Our thoughts are electrical. Now, if you go into the metaphysical aspect of it, we talk about thought vibrations, which I talk about sometime, where our thoughts aren't private. We're always giving off thoughts, but the things that we thinking in our minds, others can feel, others can pick up on these thoughts that we're thinking. So When we raise our thought vibrations, we raise our vibration of ourselves, because now we're thinking positive. Now we're looking for positive aspects of people. Now we're looking at the world different. Now these glasses have been put on to to cause where we can see it differently. And we're always in an infinite amount of thoughts. That's why it makes sense, who you're around, who you're hanging with, the type of environment you're in. That plays a role, because you can pick up on these thoughts of other people. Just keeping it real. The next part is the subconscious is a partner. The subconscious mind is a partner creating the life you want. By consciously directing your thoughts, you can influence your subconscious to work towards your goals. The subconscious mind is ruled by suggestion. It accepts all suggestion. It does not argue with you. So if you give the wrong suggestions, it will accept it as true. So if you think something's sad about yourself, that is what it is. If you think something positive about yourself, that is what it is. You feel me? That is what it is. It's going to give you what you mostly giving it, and what you've been through. Like we said, your foundation, your things that's happened throughout your life, your storage bank, your memory. So, in conclusion to the power of the subconscious mind, it's a guide to understanding and leveraging the immense potential of the subconscious mind through positive thinking, visualization, faith, in prayer. Joseph Murphy teaches that one can create a life of health, wealth, happiness, and success. And the book emphasizes that the key to unlocking the power lies in our thoughts, our beliefs, and the commands we give to our subconscious mind. Section 2. All right, all right. Now we about to get into the good stuff. Now we about to get into the good stuff. Any questions about that? Y'all still with me here with that? Any questions about what we talked about so far? Just a quick recap. We went into the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, how both of these things work. We also talked about the power of the subconscious mind, how you can use it, how you can use these different methods to be able to tap into your subconscious mind, and just how it operates. Just how it operates. And this is all about aligning your mind. So the class is mind alignment. This is all about aligning your mind. Everything that I'm talking about, I talk about it in my book, which you will get as well. And mind alignment, wake up your stolen greatness through mind power. You'll get that book as well. That's the main thing that I talk about. It's all within your mind. It's all within your thinking. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, like I said, and one of the things that now we can go a little bit further. Now that we know how the subconscious works, we know how it's imprinted. We know how these things happen. So, I call this part of it navigating through the matrix. That's what I call this. I call it navigating through the matrix. One thing I got to do, I really actually got to interview the original person that wrote the movie The Matrix, or she says she wrote The Matrix, Sophia Stevenson. And it was like going to talk to the oracle. I got to interview her. I got to ask her questions about the movie, what she meant about it. If you never seen The Matrix, it basically just kind of shows that we live in this reality, like sort of like a computer generated reality that's controlled by machines, pretty much in that movie. But it has a lot of analogies to it that are ancient principles, but it just was made into a movie. But that's one of the things that she said. She even said that the word the matrix is found in the Bible. That's where she got it from, meaning female womb, I guess, entrance. I don't know. But she broke that down, and I got to speak to her, and she just started talking about mind control, and she talked about all these different subjects. I wish I could find what I was looking for here, but she went into different subjects with it, and it was just good just to hear, her viewpoint of reality, and how she's seen it and what made her come up with the movie. She also wrote the Terminator. She wrote the Terminator. She said that they took the Terminator as well. So that's a perfect example of stolen greatness. If it's not anything, she dropped all kind of wisdom on me about just how you want to live, and how it works with control. So this section is called excuse me, this section is called, I call this navigating through the matrix. And I call it the matrix because when you look out at the world, it's easy to see that it's an imbalance between the haves and the have-nots. There's a system in place to shut down your greatness. We talked about that. Now, this can be on a large scale. You know, you going into these conspiracies and these different secret societies and governments, and this can go on a small scale. This can go into your mate, your children. This can go into all of these things controlling and having an effect on our world. This that's what I mean. I'm not just talking about a big conspiracy. I'm talking about on a day-to-day level. But seeing through it all, there's a system to shut down your greatness. But the main way our greatness is taken from us is through mental programming. If we are not programming ourselves, we are allowing anyone to program us. It's necessary to become aware of the systems in place that try to keep us in a low mental state. Once we become aware of these things, we can see through the illusions and tactics of a systems that's trying to steal your greatness. And that's what we about to go into. We about to go into mind control 101 as well as dark psychology. Don't get scared with dark psychology. This is something to know. This is something to know because people are using this on us day to day, every day. You're at your job, you can feel it. You know what I mean. Everybody had bad relationships, narcissists, and things like that. So you know what I'm saying. This can be this. These things are things that affect us on the day to day. On the day to day. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let me go a little bit further here down. So the book that we're talking about now is it's Mind Control. The book that I'm going into now is called Mind Control. You're gonna get this as well if I can find this PDF with it. But if I can't, then you just get Power of the Subconscious Mind as well as William Walker Atkinson's book, Super Consciousness and Subconscious Mind. But I'll try to get the full thing of this one. But this book is called this is a good book to read though. It's called Mind Control 101, how to influence the thoughts and actions of others without them knowing or caring. Now that sounds a little manipulative. That sounds a little manipulative, but the main thing that we're trying to learn here is what tactics are being used on us. What tactics are being used on us on a day to day? That's the main thing that we're trying to figure out here. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, there we go. So that's the main thing that we're trying to figure out. We're not, with this type of information, a lot of power comes. With knowing how the mind works, you can use this negatively. I'm just keeping it real. You can use this negatively. You could use this mind control tactics against people. You can trick people. You can do whatever you want to do, but it does have an effect behind that. So with power become comes with responsibility, right? So when you hear some of these things, don't look at it like, oh, that's manipulative. Oh, that's negative. Like I don't want to do. No, you need to know what's being used on you in order to be able to navigate through it or use it to benefit you in ways where you're not harming others. See what I'm saying? Where you're not harming others, but you know these tactics. They spend billions on studying what you're learning right now. Marketing. Marketing is the key in this social media world. Attention is the key in this social media world. Repetition is the key in this social media world. You say something enough, people begin to accept it. They begin to accept it. They see it enough, they accept it. Oh well, that's how the world is. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And some people are doing it blindly, but not me, not you. We can't do it blindly. We got to see what that is. Like, oh, you trying to play me? That's how I look at the world. Like if like that's what street smarts give you. You can use book smarts and street smarts. Street smarts give you that aspect when you know somebody trying to play you. You had to know that, but you had to know the griminess in order to know what's happening. And you may have participated in your world at one point, but now you're doing better, right? Now we're doing better, right? You know what I'm saying? So So let's keep going though. Let's keep going with mind control 101. How to influence the thoughts and actions of others, knowing without them knowing or caring. In this book, it delves into the techniques and methods. I'm gonna let y'all know we're probably gonna try to end it about 9:30. So I'm trying to get to each point that I want to make here, so you'll have it all. But we moving right now. We moving. But Mind Control 101. It's a book that delves into the techniques and methods of influencing and controlling the thoughts and actions and perceptions of others. The main thing that's in this book, it shows you some of the things that's being used upon you on your day-to-day everyday life. So step one of the book, it goes into it. This is by J.K. Ellis, Mind Control 101, How to Influence Thoughts and Actions of Others Without Them Knowing or Caring. The basic of influence. The book starts off by emphasizing the importance of understanding basic human behavior, including how people think, make decisions, and are influenced. The foundational knowledge is crucial for anyone looking to apply mind control or mind control over your own self. That's why we talked about the subconscious and how it works. That's why we know how human behavior works, because we know that people are being influenced by their subconscious and their environment and their influences in their childhood and all these things. That's how they realize how people think. So concepts like cognitive dissonance, social proof, and authority are explained as psychological principles that can be leveraged to influence other people. So if someone is in an authoritative figure, if you see they're a president, you'll believe them, even though we know they may not know nothing more than you. But if they're a teacher, you'll put them in that authoritative state, and you'll believe them, or without using your own mind. Sometimes you ever see those instances where people would be in a situation like a panic situation, especially, and let's say someone just has on a police uniform, and they say, "Hey, everybody go this way." Next thing you know, everybody going that way, right? Right? That's because they're influenced by that in authoritative nature in their mind. They're thinking this person could be leading you to a burning building, but you might believe him because you just unconsciously doing it. But if you conscious, you be like, bro, what you talking about? I don't care about you having that suit on. I'm going this way. I'm saving myself. That's the difference between a lot of individuals. That's the difference between not going with the crowd, because the crowd is being socially engineered. The crowd is being influenced by society. So, in order to live a life of your own desire and what you truly want to be, you have to step away from those way of being and think for yourself. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. So just that's how human behavior works. Knowing human behavior, knowing the psychology of people is how a lot of people are being steered and controlled in this world. Let's keep going. Okay, so the psychological, okay, and the one thing that he emphasizes in this book is the subconscious mind, what we just talked about. The subconscious mind. The role of the subconscious, Ellis discusses the significance of the subconscious mind in shaping a person's behavior, beliefs, and decisions. The book highlights that influencing the subconscious is often more effective than direct attempts of persuasion. If you can talk to a person's subconscious, you can get what you want. And a lot of people know these things, and a lot of people use it. So that's why people who use people that are vulnerable, they'll go to their weak spots and they will use it to their advantage, because they know that they can program them on a subconscious level by speaking to those traumas, by speaking to those things that they've been through. This is all psychological. This is all psychological. But once you know what it is, you can see through it. So the techniques for accessing the subconscious mind, and he talks about that as well, is methods such which we'll talk about, methods such as hypnosis, We'll talk about hypnotizing yourself, because when you hear hypnosis, you're like, oh, I want to be hypnotized. Talk about hypnotizing yourself. Subliminal messaging and repetition are explored as ways to access to reprogram the mind. Those three things: hypnosis, subliminal messaging, and repetition. This all goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the affirmations and the visualizations and these things like that. We're trying to embed that subconscious. But if someone on the outside is using it, they're trying to embed your subconscious through keep saying the same things. You hear this commercial, and the commercial keeps saying the same thing, and you know it. You know songs by heart because you keep hearing it. You know songs that you may not even like. You may just keep hearing it. Next thing you know, you singing it. It's in your subconscious now. That repetition. The radio knows that. The TV knows that. The advertisers know that. If I can get millions of people to look at this at one time, and I keep saying, and I say my slogan, Nike, just do it. Hungry, why wait? Just all these different things that are being programmed to steer our emotions. That's what commercials are. That's what all these things are. It's a way of steering our emotions, which is sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. But if you're not aware of it, then who's doing the controlling? That makes sense. Who's doing the controlling then if you don't know that these things are happening? Everybody still with me? Y'all okay with this mind control talk? Y'all okay with this mind control talk? I just want to make sure everybody's safe. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Make sure everybody up and safe. Everybody's safe with the mind control talk. Let's make sure. If you're not, say, man, no, I don't like this. Just let me know if you're safe. Okay. Everybody's safe. Sajai Songbird, you safe? Okay. I just want to make sure y'all safe with this. Keep going. Safe. Keep going. Okay. Thank you, Akima. Thank y'all for participating. Sometimes I need that. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Let's keep going with this mind control. We ain't got that much time. So, okay. So techniques for accessing subconscious methods such as hypnosis, subliminal messaging, and repetition are explored as ways to access and reprogram the subconscious mind, which we talked about. Now, techniques of persuasion and influence. So they talk about this thing called neuro-linguistic programming. So the book delves into neuro-linguistic programming. It's a powerful tool for influencing others. Techniques, and we'll talk about this as we go down, but techniques such as anchoring, mirroring, and pacing are discussed in detail. Further detail to come. So framing and reframing, Ellis explains how the way information is presented, so that's the framing. So how is it delivered to you? How is it given to you? It can significantly affect and impact how it is perceived. Reframing is used to change the perception of a situation, therefore influencing behavior. So they know this. They know how they deliver the information, how it will be accepted. So you deliver you put a family in the message. You put a family. Oh, I can relate to that because I'm thinking about my family. Maybe I do need to get this insurance. Maybe I do need to do these things. So it's all about framing. It's all about how the information is given to us, how it seeps into us. If you can have an emotion, and you can use this to benefit you too. Don't forget this now. This ain't always negative. You can use this in, you know, if you have a business, how does your business make other people feel? That's what's happening with these businesses. A shirt can be sold because Gucci is framing it as if you're exclusive because you got this Gucci. Rolex is explaining it that you have some type of status now that you got this Rollie on your wrist. So it's all about how it's framed. But that watch is no different probably than that watch that you can get at Walmart. But because Walmart is framed as low prices, you must be cheap. Oh, you must be this. Oh, you must ain't got no rank. You must ain't got no status. But it's all about framing. Who made that up? Who made that up? Who gave us that? That's how deep you have to go when you're looking out at this, especially our society that's based off of materialism and material things. You have to look at that like, Who told us that's what makes somebody rich? Who said that that's what makes somebody status? It's all about how it's framed and given to us, if that makes sense. So embedded commands is another technique. This technique involves embedding commands within regular speech, making it harder for the conscious mind to resist them. This can be used subtly to guide someone's thoughts and actions. This is all manipulation techniques that are being used. We talked about it before when you talk about emotional manipulation. The book also covers how emotions can be manipulated to influence behavior, including techniques like guilt tripping, making you feel guilty. Oh, you ain't gonna come to this, just making you feel bad about your decision you made. That guilt trip that can be embedded in your subconscious mind because it deals with your emotions. See, you see how everything's kind of building on that subconscious. You see how everything's kind of building on how the world sets you up, how it can take your greatness away if you allow it and you don't have an understanding of these things that people use. Love bombing is another one. Someone can bombard you with positivity. They can bombard you with positivity. They can just continue to tell you that you this person, that you this type of person, that you this person, you this good. I love you. I love the way you doing this. And what happens after somebody love bomb you to death? They take your guard down. They take that conscious guard down. They have embedded into your subconscious mind. You trust this person now. Your guard is down. So now, guess what that person can do? That person can manipulate you. That's why a lot of people in relationships, when the relationship first starts, somebody might come with you with that game, that love bombing. Um, my lady always say, "Don't talk to me too fast." Don't try to talk to me too fast and hype me up and sell me a dream. We always hear that, selling me a dream, because somebody trying to sell you a dream so they can reduce your um awareness and reduce the way that you see them and reduce the way that you don't have any defense of. They hit you in your subconscious. They going straight to your emotions. You don't have no defense of. So you got to be careful even with someone that's overly doing these things where they're overly love bombing you. They just telling you the best. They telling you ain't never had nobody like you. All these different things. We have to be mindful of those things and make sure that that person has good intention. Not saying that someone that loves you is bad, but make sure they have good intention. The next way that this emotional manipulation happens is through fear. It's through fear. Fear is one of the main ways that we are able to be controlled. If we're scared of something, then we go along with it. If we're in fear of it, then we just go along with it. And if someone offers a solution, and that's what they do, someone, and a lot of times with these big things that we're talking about, they make the problem, they induce the fear, and then they come with the solution, and the solution is whatever it may be. You know what I'm talking about. They come with the solution, and but the whole time they the one that made the problem. And this can be on a low level. Someone can instill this fear into you, and then they say, "Hey, I got this for sale, and I can do this, and this can do this." You don't want to be, and mostly in this society, that's one of the main emotions that people hit more than anything is fear. And that goes all the way back to, like we were saying earlier, when we talking about religion and we talking about these different things. They use fear to keep you controlled, to keep as long as you're scared, your mind's not going to work right if you in fear. I hope that makes sense. I see other people join the class. Thank you for joining the class. Just to let you know where we at with it right now. Y'all jump right in. We going into the mind control. We on mind control 101. You can catch the rest of it. I'm gonna send it. We have went over the power of the subconscious mind. So if we're kind of repeating ourselves on some of these subjects, so you'll probably be able to catch up. But we went over the power of the subconscious mind. We went over how the subconscious mind works. We went over different techniques. Now we're going into being aware of mind control through the book called Mind Control 101, how to influence thoughts of others without them knowing. And like I told them, like I made a disclaimer, this power and this type of understanding can be used negatively, but if you use it positively, it can help your life a lot. That's what I'm trying to say to it. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going with this. Let's keep going. Where we at? Mind control 101. Okay, mind control 101. We were at emotional manipulation, fear induction, love bombing, guilt tripping, any of these type of techniques. Use it on your day to day. Look at people, read people, see where they coming with. Because some people are reading these books and then they're using it against you. And we'll talk about that with the dark psychology. The next way is social manipulation. The book discusses how social dynamics such as peer pressure, authority, and groupthink can be used to control others. So groupthink, we can see this all day long, especially in politics. We can see this in even conscious groups, even all these different ways that we influenced by the world because we are in a group thing. But the word, it's nothing wrong with a group. It's nothing wrong with thoughts. But what type of thoughts are we giving? That's the key. Like we can't avoid any of these things because that's the way that this society, this world operates. That's why it's called this navigating through the matrix. That's why I call it navigating through the matrix, because it's like you have to navigate through these things regardless, because they're going to exist in your world. So um, groupthink can have a role in the way that we even show up. Oh, I don't want to do that because the group gonna think this. This comes into gang culture. This comes into sports, even sports. I like this team, or I'm with this team, or I'm with this person, or I'm with this type of person. But if we're not using our own minds to make these choices, then who's controlling it? The group. And the group can't always be positive, and then certain times the group can get taken over by what they call a thought form, or what they call as a egregor. We talked about that. If you caught some of my other videos, egregor, it can turn into its own form of an entity. Enough people thinking of enough thoughts enough times, they become powerful. They can become reckless. They can do things that they would have never did if the group didn't influence them. You see it all day. Look at the Trump people that rushed the tower, rushed the building. They probably wouldn't have did that if they was in their normal mind. Look at the things that in another thing they use was authority. Look how authority, if you look at authoritative figures, you'll see that they'll use these tactics to control the masses. They'll use repetition. You feel me? They'll use fear. They'll use emotional manipulation. They'll use a sense of culture, or you're with this group, so you're this type of person. This type of person over here is not with the group, so fight them or be against them. But we ain't with that no more. We can't be with that. We can't be with group think, because that means we're not thinking for ourselves. And that means that someone else is influencing our subconscious. The next thing is deception. So just straight up deception and distractions. That's the next part of mind control. Deception and distractions. That is the Y'all know what I'm talking about with that. It discusses how I'm sorry. These are the tactics to divert someone's attention or mislead them to achieve a desired outcome. You look over there while I'm doing this over here. People say it all the time. They be like, yeah, that's just a distraction. But do they really know what they mean when they saying it's just a distraction? What they really saying is that your subconscious is being distracted by this while this is happening, while they're getting their desired outcome. You over here thinking about this. Even if you're in a relationship, you over here thinking about this person doing they doing all these things to distract you, to make you love bomb and doing all these different things to you while they're doing this to get a desired outcome. I hope that makes sense. I hope you feel me on that. Hope you feel me on that, just to break it down to a basic level. But on a high level is, the government using certain tactics and doing certain things as a form of deception and as a form of distraction to make us look that way while they're doing this. All right, let's keep going with some of these tactics. So we got to talk about mind control and marketing and media. Like I said earlier, one of the main things that we talk about is they study these things. The thing that you pay for here is things that they pay millions to study. They pay millions to understand how the neuroscience of our mind, how the marketing, how colors play a role, how subliminal messaging, how repetition plays a role, how the certain imagery that's on the television, how the certain logos are created, and all these things are just magic being used, but it's being used against you. But everything that I just named, you can use it into your own positive way of doing this because that's the natural way that the mind works. That's why I'm telling you these things so you be aware of it, but you can also use it to reprogram your subconscious mind. So let's keep going. So subliminal messages. Ellis explores how subliminal messages are used in advertising and media to influence consumer behavior without their conscious awareness. So it can be something in the background that you're paying no mind to while they distracting you with this thing, but it might be something in the back that's just a logo that's saying eat at McDonald's or whatever it may be. They may use this type of color to invoke an emotion behind the decision you made. It's just that simple. It's just that simple that these very things with the subconscious and the mental mind and the mental way that our mind works, that's what they're using against us though. But you can use subliminals for your benefit. You can use imagery for your benefit. You can make your own logos and things that represent things for you, put pictures on your wall, put pictures in your house, put things that seek into your subconscious while you're walking around, and you create your own world. You choose what you want to look at. You watch what video you want to watch. You choose what you want to buy. You choose these things without being manipulated or or influenced by someone else. That makes sense. That makes sense. Now does that make sense why I started at the subconscious mind and how it works and how it's influenced? I just want to make sure that makes sense. I'm gonna take me a little water break. I want to make sure that makes sense to everyone. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It make perfect sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, let's keep going. So, mind control 101. Once again, we on mind control 101. So the propaganda and persuasion. We discuss how governments and organizations use propaganda techniques to shape public opinion and behavior. So propaganda, if you're not familiar with it, I know I learned about propaganda when I was in. I just didn't know how serious it was with my own self, but I learned about propaganda when I in elementary school. You know, we talked about how they use propaganda to make people join make women work and things like that. Like you see that strong woman like during the times of World War when all the men went out, they used propaganda to show women being strong to make sure that they come to work. We need somebody to work. The men at work, it was all propaganda. I remember my teacher told me that, and it hit my heart at that point in my life, even though I didn't know what it meant. Now that I'm older, now I realize that mental propaganda is not a bad thing if you know how to use it. Yeah, you remember that? See, that's how it was. It was like they told us they hung up posters everywhere during the wars and they put different things in different spaces so people would then believe that. That's how we being shaped. Look at the politics. That's the main way. I mean, they like the one that use it the most. If you look at the politics, you will see that we'll keep getting bombarded with the same messages. They gotta have a slogan. We ain't going back. We ain't going back to what? We ain't going back to what? To what we always been at? You know what I'm saying? Just like, come on, like let's really think. Let's really use these things. Make America great again. Just keep saying the same things over and over again. And you can use this. I use it. Vibrate so high. That's repetition, but it's positive, but it's not an agenda behind it. It's something beneficial to you, so take that in. Vibrate so high. You can see it with your pastors. You can see it with your you let's say it with the pastor. You go to church, the pastor will instill some type of fear, say something about the devil, say something about going to hell. Next thing you know, you scared. Oh, I shouldn't even think that. They use straight fear. That's the only reason why I didn't read anything else. That's the only reason why I believed in that religion, because it was fear based. I was scared. I thought a wrong thought. I was like, "Oh, I'm going to hell tomorrow. I bet. God gonna strike me down. But the preacher uses this also in a way of the preacher will use this in the way that they speak. They will repeat themselves. It's embedding your subconscious. You see how this is a day-to-day thing? And that's why you got to do it with your kids. You got to keep repeating stuff. You got to keep saying it. You like, you ain't hear me the first time. No, they didn't. They didn't. It didn't seek into that subconscious. They might have consciously heard it, but did it seek into that subconscious? That's what matters. I hope you giving them some positive, because a lot of times the things that we've been given have been negative in our subconscious, but it's being used all the time around us. Somebody put a suit on, you think they're important. That person might be a straight thief, straight scam artist. People use body language. People use outfits, all type of things. We're all using it though. We're all using it. It's just about your intention and how you want to do it. But propaganda is one of the main things, but using mental propaganda for yourself is the key. Having your own mental propaganda that you use. Hang up the posters in your house with the things that you want to see yourself do. Print out images of happy times. Get on social media, go to CVS pharmacy, make a big picture of that a vacation you had. Take these images that you see of this house that you want, put it in your house, put it as your screensaver. And I'll talk about techniques to reprogram your subconscious in modern ways inside my book, the reprogramming of the subconscious mind, mind alignment manifestation workbook, that you'll get as well here. And it'll go into this is why I say, if anything that I'm missing here, you'll have other things. It goes into self-assessment, it goes into how to create an affirmation, it goes into how to stress management, and it goes into how to declutter the mind and change the subconscious. So you'll be able to have that. But mental programming is key, because mental programming, you have to have your own programming, because you're always being bombarded. Like I say, they spend millions in advertising, and they spend millions in knowing how the brain works and the psychology of you and me in order to be able to sell us stuff most of the time, or sell an idea. And we just seen it in 2020 bigger than ever before, and it worked. They instilled fear, they created a problem, they gave a solution, then they came back with the distractions, and then when they said that the solution wasn't real, they came with another distraction. Next thing we know, we over it. And here we are in 2024, and the next thing we know, it's like, what just happened? I know everybody feeling that. I know I am. But let's keep going though. So subliminal messages, of course. So ethical consideration. So a lot of people like to use morals. A lot of people like to use the way society views what's good and bad. They like to use that against you. So while the book is a guide to how to influence others, Ellis also touches on the ethical implications of using these techniques, and he warns the readers about the potential harm of manipulating others without their consent, and the importance of using these techniques responsibly. That's what I talked about at the beginning. Anytime you know these type of techniques, you have to also use them with consideration of they are dangerous. These things are dangerous. These things that I'm telling you right now, this can be dangerous in the wrong hands, but this can be beneficial in the right. So, and then he goes into certain ways that you can protect yourself. So, self protection is defending against manipulation, how to recognize when mind control techniques are being used against you, and how to protect yourself from that unwanted influence. That's one of the main things that we were talking about. You have to have that awareness of, okay, that's propaganda. Okay, I know what that symbol means now. And that's why knowledge is so powerful, because it helps you to be able to see through the mind control. It helps you to not be deceived through their mechanisms. So building a mental resilience, and that goes back to, you defend yourself by thinking for yourself, by using critical thinking, by having an emotional regulation and awareness of common manipulation tactics. So emotional regulation. So having being able to regulate your own emotions and your own fears, and being able to not be influenced so much by the outside world, because you're regulating your emotions and you know the manipulation tactics. So these are some of the ways they talked about, some of the ways that the applications of mind control is used. So just simple things can be applied in personal relationships, such as influencing your partner, your friend, your family member. These are things that's always used in our families. You start thinking a different way, you can be outcasted from the family. You start thinking a certain way, they kick you out the group chat. You don't believe in certain things that they believe anymore. They try to isolate you. They try to make you feel crazy, right? Right? That's group think. That's mechanisms. That's emotional. That's covert emotional manipulation. That's what it's called. Covert emotional manipulation. Isolate that person. Make that person feel crazy. Make them not fit into the group anymore. Leave them out of things. And next thing you know, you give up and say, hey man, I believe what y'all believe. Even though deep down in your soul, you don't believe that no more. You don't feel that way no more. Don't bow down to that group thing. They're the ones that's lost. You're the one that's on your own path. And what's going to end up happening, you're going to open up a world. And a lot of people, I'll tell you this right now, a lot of people that think that way, they're going to end up following you eventually. Trust me. Stand in your power, stand in your confidence, stand in your belief of what you believe in. And if they're weak, the next thing you know, they're gonna be right behind you. Hey, how you did that, bruh? I see you, bruh. I see you. So don't get caught up in that. And I don't tell you what to do or what not to do, but I'm saying just try not to get caught up in that group thing because it's a covert emotional manipulation. That's what it's called. Covert emotional manipulation. You don't want to be alone. You don't want to be lonely. You don't want everybody to be against you, but they're really not. They're really just in fear. Okay, so now we got okay, so let me talk about this real quick. So just to end the mind control 101. So mind control 101 serves as a comprehensive guide to understanding and applying mind control techniques. The book balances practical advice with ethical consideration, making it a resource for those intended in both in the power and responsibility that comes with influencing others, and it emphasizes the importance of using these techniques responsibly and with consideration. All right, so let's talk about the techniques. One of them is hypnosis. So when you hear the word hypnosis, you automatically probably think, man, no, I don't want to be hypnotized. Oh, hypnosis is bad. Or you may have seen hypnosis. You may have seen hypnosis in the You, yeah, you become a consider. There it is. There it is. But you might have seen hypnosis in the way that things just get, like when someone moves the clock and then takes over your mind and have you doing it. And those things are real. Those things are happening because they are getting past your conscious mind, going into your subconscious and giving you suggestions. That's what the suggestions are. But we can get past our conscious mind by slowing our brains down through meditation, through mindfulness, through visualization, through breathing, through just being in a calm state. That's how you are able to push the suggestions to yourself, hypnotize yourself. Now let's talk about hypnosis just briefly, because I know we got about 30 minutes here. If y'all with me, I'm with y'all. I stay to 10, but let me just try and get through it though here. But hypnosis is a psychological technique that involves guiding someone into a trance-like state where they become more open to suggestions. Like I said, it's the process that taps into the subconscious mind, making it easier to influence thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors. In a controlled setting, hypnosis is used therapeutically to help break people habits, reduce stress, or explore deeper parts of their consciousness. And that's why now if you look at therapy, or you can get into therapy and they use hypnosis, because if you look into past life regression, they use hypnosis, and we haven't talked about that, but inherited memories, like past life regression goes into going into memories. of your previous life. If you want to look into that, that's Journey of the Souls. That's a good book, Michael Singer, that goes into it, where he's interviewed thousands of people on past life regressions. But hypnosis is now used to make people start smoking. Hypnosis is now used to make people start losing weight. All these different things is used with hypnosis to make a person to change their subconscious by using suggestions, just like we talked about earlier. Just like we talked about earlier. But you can hypnotize yourself by slowing your brain down and using what we'll talk about in a minute, subliminals. By you listening to those affirmations while you're in that calm state, or even listening to affirmations while you're doing other things. Listening to subliminals while your conscious mind is busy, and your subconscious mind, you can sneak something into that conscious mind, subconscious mind, while the conscious mind is busy in the background. So you can play affirmations while you're doing other things, and it can still seek into your mind. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. But subliminal affirmations work better because it doesn't have the words. It doesn't. It's playing in the background. It's underlining. That's what they use in media and marketing. Underline message behind something that's in front of you. And they have subliminals on different things like that. They have subliminals on YouTube. I make my own subliminals. You can look into that too. But they have certain subliminals if you want to use that. But you basically play the affirmations behind the subliminals. I mean, play the affirmations behind the music or behind the tones, and it's seeking into your subconscious because your conscious mind is not there to try and block it or try to put up that defense to say, bruh, you ain't rich, bro, you ain't doing that. So the more you do it, that repetition is key. That's why that repetition is key. We always getting hit with subliminal things every day, and being repeated some of the same things over and over again, so it can be imprinted. But the it's a process of that taps into the subconscious mind, making it easier to influence thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors. In a control setting, it can be used to break habits, reduce stress, and things like that. However, in the context of mind control, hypnosis can be used more manipulative. It can be used to manipulate others by placing a person in a state of heightened suggestibility. Heightened suggestibility. This can be a movie. We get deep into that movie. We could be watching a movie. We so deep into that movie, we think we in the movie. We become the characters. We have the emotional reactions. We jump when the person screams. We hear these music behind us, and we know like, oh, that's the scary part. Oh, something about that. That's all suggestions. That's all hypnotic suggestions. When we in the movie theater and we listen to we looking at that movie, we get emotionally attached to it. That's why we might cry after the movie is over. You might feel like you really knew Ricky from Boys in the Hood. You might really feel like you know what I'm saying. I remember, and I said that because I remember as a child, my name's Ricky. So I remember as a child when I used to see that part, oh, it used to be devastating. And I was always thinking deep, so I was thinking like, oh, one day that's gonna happen to me. That's what this movie mean. My name Ricky. I was young, this came out in the '90s. I was young, but I always said to myself like, he got my name. This is my faith gonna be. And I thought that for a long time. I'm gonna be real about it. I even cried like once he died because I'm thinking about myself. You see what I'm saying? You see how suggestible we can be. You see how impressionable we can be, and that might have played a role. And if I had kept believing that, that might have played a role where that showed up in in my reality. That's why all these gangster movies and all these different things that they keep showing us is becoming the norm. It's becoming the normal reality because it's been embedded in our subconscious. If we see gang banging enough, it's not that crazy. If we keep seeing rappers dying, it's not that crazy no more. You know what I'm saying? You like, oh, another rapper died. Oh, but in the '80s or something, that would have been mind blowing. When Tupac died, that was mind blowing. But now it's every week. See, we got to be careful what becomes the norm. We got to be careful with what we've been suggested with over and over and over again. The radio play it 1,000 times. This is the new music. But you don't have to fall for that when you know what they're doing. You feel me? I hope y'all still with me. But yeah, that used to get to me. That used to get to me with that. Okay, let's keep going. Let me skip down a bit because I want to make sure. I wanted to talk about framing. So framing is also that was that was what we were talking about before. Um, hold on, let me stop before I go there. But like we were saying with being hypnotized, you can hypnotize yourself with suggestions, with auto suggestions. We talked about that with Joseph Murphy when we talked about auto suggestions. So you suggesting these new things to yourself, you reading this new knowledge, you watching these new videos, you taking classes like this, you're looking at new things on YouTube, you creating a new algorithm. You know, your algorithm is the perfect example of what's going on in your subconscious mind. You click on a couple of videos, they just keep feeding you that. That's the perfect example of how the subconscious mind works. You keep your attention on something long enough, even if it's negative, then those things just keep showing up, right? That's how the algorithm works. You click on one video about basketball, next thing you know, the next videos you see, the next 20 videos is about basketball. You know, you look up something, and that's how your subconscious works, and it'll keep repeating that, and then you become limited to that algorithm. You know what I mean? You become limited. Everything is basketball. That's all you're thinking about. That's all you're talking about when you go out in the public. You see what I'm saying? Because it's imprinted in the subconscious mind based on those things that you viewing. And I'm telling you this because that's the way that you change your subconscious mind, by being consciously aware of what you're suggesting to yourself. Change your algorithm. Start clicking on different things so that way those things, these are modern ways to change your subconscious. Don't worry about the news. Don't turn the news on. Just go outside. Go do things with yourself that can change the way that you view the world, because then that's going to be the world that you're going to create. That's how these things really work. That makes sense? That makes sense? That makes sense? The algorithm and the subconscious is almost like the same thing, pretty much. But that's how you hypnotize yourself, basically. You know, that's how you hypnotize yourself. Yep. Okay, now let's keep going. Let's keep going here. Okay. So so this, like I said, the main way to be able to make a person believe something, or to make your own self believe something, is by going into a certain state, by going into a certain relaxed state. This in this state is achieved. You can consciously do these states by relaxation, breathing methods, breath work, focused attention. All of this is because the conscious mind becomes less active and the subconscious mind becomes more accessible. So let's just look at it like, when we're in these heightened senses, the conscious mind out the way, the logical mind is out the way at that point, and it can seek into our subconscious. And that's what a lot of marketers hope. They hope we thinking logically, and they hope they can hit you right in those emotions, hit you right in that subconscious. All right, next. So framing techniques. Framing is a method used to influence how people perceive and interpret information. It's about presenting information in a way that leads the audience to draw a specific conclusion. The way a situation or choice is framed can significantly affect decision making and judgment. In mind control, framing can be used to subtly guide thoughts and behaviors without the person realizing they are being influenced. For example, if you frame a challenging task as an opportunity rather than a problem, you can steer someone towards a more positive and proactive approach. Similarly, framing certain beliefs or actions as normal or desirable can shape an individual's attitudes and behaviors to align with the controller's agenda. Let's read that again real quick. Let me read that again. If you frame a challenging task as an opportunity, you see it in your job. You've got a job, they say, oh yeah, we're gonna offer you this, and then you're gonna be able to do this, and we're gonna all come together. It's gonna be teamwork, and then we're gonna do this for you guys, and just all these things. But at the end of the day, they really just want you to work these hours. They really just want you to work these hours, but they may frame it like they're saying, like it's something benefiting you. Go out and vote for me. You're gonna get no taxes, no more taxes. We're gonna get rid of taxes. We're gonna, and as I'm going through my algorithm, as I see it, and they are pushing it because they got the money behind it. During these times, we see these. Anytime we start, it's time to vote. You just see these campaigns being pushed hard. They being pushed hard. I'm talking about every time you open up something, it's about that. And then people are just jumping on the bandwagon and being group thinking, and they add on to it, and then it becomes a trending topic, and then trending topics are now the suggestibility. Trending topics, everybody doing the same dance. You feel me? It could have been, it was lame last week, but now this person did it. Oh, now everybody doing it. That's what TikTok is. Not saying anything's wrong with that. People are having fun, but at the same time, everybody doing the same that people would use the same video with the same thing on there and just do it in their house a different way. We all do it. I done did it too. Now I ain't sitting here acting like I haven't. I'm not down to nobody that's doing TikTok. I got 100,000 on TikTok, but I don't really go on there to do those type of things. But what I'm saying though is that's the society that we live in. They're being influenced, especially younger people. I like what you said. That is so true. So many of the social media and the algorithms are skewed to bring negative thoughts and images to the brain. There we go. We being bombarded with sometimes stuff we don't need to see. Some things that we don't even need to go through. We can vicariously go through traumas. Like, you keep seeing somebody that look just like you dying. That's vicarious trauma. It can affect you vicariously. You can live through other people's experiences based on that imagery because it's hitting your mind. You see what I mean? You can feel that same feeling of that person. So be careful when you're watching all these traumatic videos and all these different things that's happening because you're vicariously living that trauma that that person is, and it can seep into your subconscious, especially if you're not aware of how these things affect you. But let's keep going though. Let's keep going. So framing, like I said, they just come with something. They act like it's something desirable, but it's really something that they want a desired outcome from it. We're gonna offer this overtime so you get more hours and this and that. Then we're gonna have this Christmas party after this, and then they just give you some pizza or something. It's just you got to look for those things through the day to day. You got to look for those things, and you can see through it, and it's almost hard to navigate because you're like, man, come on, bro. I see what you're trying to bring, but let's keep going. So the next method is neuro linguistic programming methods, which is known as NLP. You can learn more about NLP as well through books like Psycho-Cybernetics and things like that. But NLP is basically a set of psychological techniques that involve understanding and manipulating the relationships between how people think, neuro, and how they communicate, linguistics, and their patterns of behaviors and emotions, which is your programming. So your patterns of behaviors and emotions is your programming, your thinking is your neurological aspect, and the way that we communicate is the linguistics. So they just break that down into neuro linguistic programming. And NLP methods are often used to change thinking patterns, breaking bad habits, and enhance personal development. And this NLP is a techniques that can be used. They have it on YouTube as well. Certain NLP techniques. This is really good because it literally deals with all components of your mind, which is your neurological aspect, your communication, like the way you hear things, the way you speak, and things like that, and also your emotions. So it combines it all together to have a great effect. In mind control, though, NLP can be employed to subtly influence thoughts and behaviors. And these are some of the common NLP techniques that are used. I'm just going to go over these briefly, though. So one is anchoring, creating an association between a specific stimulus and a particular emotional state. So, for example, a person might be conditioned to feel confident whenever they hear a particular sound or phrase. So, anchoring. So this way I use anchoring. I use it with vibrate so high. I use certain things that I can use to anchor myself, like to balance myself, to keep you in that basically in that spot. So if I want to vibrate higher, I might say that to myself. It's anchoring me into a certain behavior or a certain way of feeling at that moment. It can be words, it can be sounds, it can be motions that you do. Somebody might, you know, breathe in or breathe out before they when they're nervous to get over that. Different things like that. Anchoring. Another way is mirroring. So this is imitating someone else's body language. You got to watch this when you're talking to people. Speech patterns or behaviors to build a rapport. Now this can be used good, but it also usually used for people are using these techniques to manipulate people. But sometimes it can build rapport and create a subconscious connection between you and another person. Mirroring their body language, talking to them, being comfortable, and things like that. But a lot of times people are using this. Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, yeah, bro. Oh yeah, doing these things, but they're mirroring you to be able to influence you or to make you like them and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's another one of the ways that that's being used. So let's keep going here. Let's keep going. Let me see where else we got here. So okay, so we talked about NLP, okay, mirroring, anchoring, and then reframing. So reframing is changing the way someone perceives a situation by altering the context and meaning of it. For instance, if someone is nervous about public speaking, reframing it as an exciting opportunity to share knowledge can reduce their anxiety. So you can use this with yourself. You can reframe the way that you see things that's happening to yourself. You can reframe even the way you see going to your job. You can look at it like, hey, I'm doing this because I'm learning new skills. I can look at this as an opportunity. I can look at this as a way that I can build my business up. I can, these things being used to reframe, they can have a heavy influence on your subconscious programming in the way that you think. All of these are NLP techniques, neuro linguistic programming techniques. Pattern interrupt. So breaking a person's habitual thoughts. That's the next thing. So pattern interrupt. I guess this would go back into being consciously aware when you're going into that dark negative thoughts. When you just keep seeing yourself into that, you think the one negative thought, then you think another negative thought. You think this, and then you start building up this. Then your mind start telling you all these things that could possibly happen. This may be coming from old subconscious programming. This may be coming for things that happened in your past. You know what I mean? So it just keeps bombarding you and keeps building up, but you can do what they call pattern interruption. You can interrupt that pattern. You can interrupt that pattern. So when you're in the middle of those negative thoughts, when you keep hearing yourself going into those thought processes and they're taking over, you can interrupt that with another thought, or with or even with that anchoring word, or doing something different. You got to move. You got to move out of that thought, because if we sit on it, that's where the depression comes in. And that's when the subconscious thinking, that's when the beliefs begin to change. That's when the habits start changing, when you sit in it. So pattern interruption is another way to do it. I hope y'all able to keep up with me. I hope everybody keeping up with me. I know I'm going over a lot, but breaking a person's habitual thought or behavior pattern can create a moment of openness, or um and then with mind control, people use that as a way of being able to be more suggestible. So you could be saying something and they just say something random and interrupt your pattern of thinking, and it may open you up to a suggestion at that point. So just be mindful of that as well. All right, all right. Whew. We have went through a lot here. We have went through a lot. We got about 15 more minutes, 20 minutes here. Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? I'm gonna go into the last thing I'm gonna touch is dark psychology. And it's very similar to mind control. I hope y'all getting what y'all needed out of this. And like I said, everything that I'm sending you is going to be in a book, so you'll be able to go further into it. But I hope you guys still with me. Ah, we went over so much then. I got to take a little break. Let's take a little breather. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I try to give so much in here because I want people to be able to go back and be able to use these things after they leave here. And I know I can't teach everything about the mind in 3 hours, but I try to give you as much as I can in this session. I appreciate you participating. I'm seeing your chats too. Thank you, Jenny. Okay, now let's keep going here. Okay, so where we at now? Where we went with it? Where we went with it? Okay, we still recording. Okay, great. All right, so so now let's get into dark psychology. I just thought this was something that I needed to add to it because I just think you need to know these things. You know what I mean? I feel like we need to know these certain things that people are using on us every day. Like not to manipulate others, not to start gaslighting people, not to use these things against people, but to be able to protect myself. Like I said, it start off we talking about navigating through the matrix, navigating through these things that are set in front of us. This is coming from the book called Dark Psychology, the shadow side of human behavior. You can find this on YouTube. Dark Psychology. It's a great book. It's deep. It go excuse me. It goes into all the different type of methods that in the psychological things that are being used against us and things like that. So that's the key to this. But let's go into dark psychology. Don't get scared because of that word. Dark psychology is the shadow side of human behavior, content. So, dark psychology is the study of the human condition concerning the psychological nature of those who prey on others' minds and emotions. It includes manipulation, persuasion, coercion, and mind control techniques used to dominate to control others. Understanding these tactics helps us recognize, resist it, and protect ourselves from this manipulation. The foundation of this all is mind control, like we were just talking about. Let me see if I can get this up. I think okay, yeah, it's still here. Okay. Well, I got a lot to go. Okay, I'm gonna try and finish this. Just kind of give you a briefing of this part though. But basically, like the mind control tactics is psychological manipulation, exploiting cognitive biases, knowing your emotions and vulnerabilities to influence decisions and behaviors, using threats. That's what I'm saying. That fear is the main way that dark psychology is used on individuals. That force or intimidation to compel someone to act against their own will. These are all dark psychology techniques, and these are all things that are being used every day, all day, not just by the government, by people trying to bully people, by people trying to intimidate people, by people trying to do these certain things to people. And they're doing this because this has a way of exploiting your psyche. Your psyche is messed up subtly. So the persuasion subtly guides people's thoughts and actions, which is through what we were talking about, suggestions. Oftentimes this is without you even being aware of it. Now, some of the let's go into some of the things that, like, just some of the personality traits of people that are dark psychology. If we go into that, because we were talking about that earlier, of how people use dark psychology in this world. We talked about that with the mind control. So dark psychology, certain type of individuals, this is your individual that would be considered narcissism, excessive self-focus and a sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, um, exploiting of others, strategic deception. So it's strategic deception. It comes with the love bombing. It comes with mirroring you. It comes with these different tactics that steal your greatness. Once again, let's go all the way back to what it's about. Why are we learning this? We trying to align our minds and being able to see through this. So psychopaths, That's another form of dark psychology. So, person that has lack of guilt, empathy, and emotional attachment, and they are often charming and persuasive because they're using these techniques. They're often charming and persuasive. So if a person is not aware of these techniques, they can be influenced by somebody that's a psychopath. Anybody ever been there? Anybody ever seen a person that started off all good, then next thing you know, this person turned into a whole nother different type of individual on you? Yeah, they knew it. This is deception at its finest. So be careful. But when you're aware of your own mind, then you know what it is. See, Jenny, feel me? It's a form of deception. Um, so some of the techniques we talked about this briefly here, but gaslighting, making someone doubt their reality, memory, and perceptions. Anytime someone can make you doubt your own self, make you doubt your own reality, gaslight you, change your memories or perceptions of the things that you thought something was, and once they start changing that, they can then control you because they'll have you tripping. Yeah, you thinking like, I know I thought that, but maybe I'm the one that's tripping. These are all techniques. These are all techniques of dark psychology. These are all techniques of mind control. These are all mechanisms that's used by individuals to be able to control your thinking, your subconscious. Going back to that. The love bombing. The love bombing is the next one that we see people that just continue to just tell us things, overwhelming someone with affection and attention to gain the control. They putting your guards down. They taking your conscious mind, your logical thinking of what is this person's intention, and they just take it down. And now they hit you in your subconscious. That's why it's so hard to get away from those people. Like once they throw you that other side, it's almost impossible to get away from them because at this point your guard is down. At this point, you may love this person, but you didn't fall in love with the psychopath. You fell in love with the person that they presented initially. So your guard is down. So the only way up out of that is being up out of their influence. That's the only way that's about it. And sometimes you have to take it as extreme as being just not being around that person altogether. A lot of people are not strong enough to get out of that type of situation. So you say, why that person still with that person? They know they crazy. From the outside you can see that, but from the inside, in the inner world, they are subconsciously being programmed by that person. So that takes a lot of effort and a lot of mind control to be of yourself, to be able to pull yourself out of these situations. That's why our parents have such a strong hold on us. That's why authoritative figures can have such a strong hold on us. That's why people that we love can have such a strong hold on us, because they have put our guards down. They in our subconscious at this point. But yeah, that's okay, gaslighting. Um, so undermining someone's confidence through backhanded compliments or subtle insults. So this is another way that a person can make you trip in your own mind of yourself. They may undermined you. And this is you. I made a video today about this in social media because that's what they do to me all the time. But they don't know I know their techniques. I know their tactics. They undermine me because I'm saying it, because I got these shades on, because I look a certain way, because I'm maybe even because I'm a certain race. You should know that, bruh. Who taught you that? You don't know this. Then they start trying to come with ways that I'm incorrect or different things like that. But I know those are tactics. Those are tactics that people use. They try to undermine you. Even when you're sure of what you know, you could still have a lack of confidence in what you know because they're undermining you. So be careful with that. And this can be a friend that can do this. I hope y'all okay with me talking about these things. I hope y'all okay with me talking about these things. When you take a class with me, I don't just go over the positive things. I keep it real. I keep it 100. I make sure I let it be known of some of these tactics that are being used, because look out at the world. Look how many people, like I was working with this lawyer firm where I take these calls where all I heard was just defeat, just people just filled with defeat. These divorces, these different things that they go through, their money problems. I just hear defeat all day long. But I know what's happening here. These people are victims of mind control. They are victims of individuals that they may have loved that used them. You know. We all go through it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I try to get deep. I try to keep it real with y'all though. But let's keep going. So uh okay, so this another one that is used a lot. They call it triangulation. Triangulation. So in involving a third party to create conflict or insecurity. So you could be in an argument, you could be talking to one person, then you could put a third person in there, try like a triangle, and this person may agree with that person, and now you're by yourself. Now, if you're not strong enough and you're or assertive in your beliefs, then next thing you know, you just feel like, okay, I might well give up. I know I must be wrong because this person is using this person to influence you or to create a conflict against you or isolate you and make your insecurities come in. Subliminal messaging is the next way. So subliminal messaging is the next way that that can happen as a mind control technique. We talked about that and just to go into it a little bit further with what subliminal messaging is, and remember, you can use these subliminal messages for yourself. It still works in a positive way. Just remember that it still works in a positive light. This can always be negative. This ain't always has to be negative. I thank y'all for sticking with me here. I thank y'all for sticking with me. I'm probably just gonna keep going here to try and get the gist of it so we can combine it all together and then leave it at that. Then probably in the next couple of days, I'll be sending you all some emails so you'll be able to look over this and go over this video again. So if you're missing anything or doing other things, it's all good. You know what I mean? You'll have your own time to listen to this. But let's keep going. So let's talk about subliminals a little bit more because subliminals is important. I love subliminals. I use subliminals on the daily. Subliminals is the best way to get past that conscious mind. Look at the conscious mind like the security guard that's standing there. Like when you say an affirmation, it stops you. It's also called a reticular activating system. The reticular activating system, that gatekeeper between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the gatekeeper there. And basically what happens is when we say affirmations, and I know we all experience this, you don't believe them because it's new. It sounds like bull because it's like, wow, I'm not rich, I'm broke. I'm sitting here right now, I'm broke. So it's better to use subliminals because subliminals gets past that security guard that's standing at that gate of your mind. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? So subliminals, so if we look at the different types of subliminals, we got to look at the different types of the subliminals. So visual subliminals are images or words flashed briefly that the conscious mind does not register. So this is used all the time. This is used in different ways, such as videos that we see, these visual subliminals. Then we can have auditory subliminals. Those are the low volume messages that we run into. Those are the low volume messages that we run into, the underlining messages. And the subliminals, the main thing with the subliminals is it's about the way that the subconscious work that we were talking about. The subliminal messages bypass the conscious mind and are processed in the subconscious, which influences your behaviors and decisions. Exposure to these subliminal cues can prime individuals to act in certain ways and make specific choices. You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean? Okay, let me see. Let me see. I got so much more to go here, but I don't want to hold you guys up with this. I'm going to send you this though, but I want to keep going a little bit more into these subliminals because this is a key that you can use. So in some films or advertisements, a brief image is flashed on the screen quickly that the conscious mind doesn't register it, but the subconscious mind. So in the 1950s, a market researcher claimed to have flashed the words drink Coca-Cola, eat popcorn in the movie theater, allegedly boosting sales of these items. So these hidden images, embedding these images or symbols within advertisements or artwork, for instance, some suggest that these certain brand logos or ads might have shapes or figures that resemble something else, like a word or a face, which can then go deeply into your subconscious without you being aware of it. So auditory subliminal messages. So playing messages backwards within a song or audio track where it's said to influence the listener subconsciously. So they did this in certain bands. You know, you see these videos with these bands. You might hear the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and they have had their music analyzed for supposed background messages. And through these background messages, they are saying certain things. And these subliminal messages played at volumes just below the threshold of the conscious hearing, often layered under music or nature. And when you use it positively, it can be underlined through certain music or nature sounds. All of this can be used. And okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to, because I was going to go into energy blocks and things like that, but I think I went deep enough. I think I went deep enough. If you agree here, and I'm just going to show you where I feel like you can use this in your day to day. Let me know if y'all enjoyed that. Let me know if you got something out of all of that that I just went over. I don't want to keep y'all here 4 hours. Let me know if you enjoyed what we were just went over there. If you learned something, I just want to make sure everybody learning something in here. Appreciate you, Jenny. Appreciate you, Jenny. Appreciate you, Carolyn. Appreciate you, Sajai. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for thank y'all so much for joining the class. Thank you for being a part of this. I wish I could go on for hours because I got like 5 more hours, but I want to kind of recap it because we said so much. I want to recap it and I want to bring it down into mind alignment, basically. All right. So one of the first things that we started with was the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The whole thing about this was waking up your stolen greatness. Your greatness has been taken away from you in ways that a lot of us are not aware of, through the programming, through our parents, through authority figures, through the processes that we've learned at a young age, through cultural influence, through groupthink. These are ways that our greatness can be stolen from us if we're not in a environment that's conducive with that innate ability, because the innate ability is what the subconscious does. That's naturally there. So our greatness is already there. It's already within us. We already have, are going to run off of programs, but it's all about which programs that we accept and believe as our own. We have to realize we have the ability and the power to create our own reality based on going into our own subconscious and making these changes. So that's why I brought up the subconscious mind and the conscious mind and how it works. And that's why I brought up the subconscious mind and how you can impact it through these different techniques. The next thing we went into the power of the subconscious mind, the benefits that it has, by going into Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, which you will also receive in a ebook after this class. So read it on your time. It's also an audio book online. It's an audio book. I love these audio books because I do other things as seeking into my subconscious while I'm listening to the audio book doing other things. So that's another good technique to use. I'm going to go over some more modern techniques that's inside my workbook here. But yeah, we went into the power of it. We went into how the subconscious mind can affect our health, how the subconscious mind can affect our success, how the subconscious mind can affect our confidence, how the subconscious mind can affect the way that we view the world and see other people, in the way that we have confidence in ourselves or the lack of confidence. Our subconscious mind can play a role in if we are experiencing more negative than positive. We have to harmonize ourselves. Not saying that it's never going to be anything negative, but we have to harmonize ourselves to believe in the positive things in our reality. Then we went into mind control. That was one of the main things that I wanted to talk about, because mind control is something that you're faced with day to day, all throughout your day. When you're not aware of the propaganda or the tactics that's being used on you, you can be easily influenced and you can be suggestible. And we went into how this can happen because certain things hypnotize us. You can be hypnotized by a commercial, you can be hypnotized by a movie, you can be hypnotized by anything that steers your emotion, by anything that brings you out of that conscious state and brings you into that relaxed state. You can then be hypnotized. But what we're doing here in this class, we're learning how to hypnotize ourselves in a positive way. And you do this through mental imagery of your own. You think of your own mental imagery. Another way is creating your own mind movie. Make your own movies. Look at your algorithm. Look at the things that you're we call it what we call a mental diet. Have a diet from certain things. Cut certain things out of your of your viewing. Cut certain things out of your world. Stop talking to certain people. Stop looking at certain shows. Some ratchetness is okay, but you just constantly looking at that, that becomes embedded in the subconscious. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying to be stiff. I would never tell anyone to be stiff, because it's things that you like probably, but never let it influence you without you making that choice. Okay, so we went into the mind control, we went into subliminals. Now, subliminals can be used negatively and positively. The main way that we want to use subliminals is by playing tones, listening to certain tones and certain frequencies with underlining affirmations behind it. The affirmations, I'll teach you how to make the affirmations in this book when you want to make your own affirmations and how to do it. But the affirmations, a lot of times, it only works because you're having repetition. Anything could be an affirmation. If someone keeps telling you you sorry over and over again, or you lazy, or you're a procrastinator, or you're ugly, and they keep telling you that, that's an affirmation. That's affirming it to yourself. And eventually it becomes embedded, and that becomes that program. You see how easy this kind of makes it once you start looking at it this way? You see how easy programming really happens? And when you really do it for yourself and you consciously aware of it, you become a new person. You make new habits. Just like they say, when you use hypnosis in therapy, people are becoming new people. People are becoming breaking old habits because they're breaking into their subconscious without something stopping them saying, "No, you go smoke that cigarette, bruh." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying that's one way of using it. So the next one that we went into, the next one that we went into after we went into the subconscious mind, we went into the subconscious mind, we went into the power of the subconscious mind, then we went into the mind control tactics. And I didn't want to make mind control. That was from Mind Control 101 book. And the main thing I wanted to show in that was how mind control is used and how you can use it through propaganda, through subliminals, through emotional manipulation, especially fear being the main ones. Fear has controlled society for years by using groupthink, by using the masses and making you feel isolated. All of these things are ways that this is being used by covert emotional manipulation. So it doesn't even look like you're being manipulated emotionally, but they are using that. So these are all mind control tactics. And when you're aware of it, you're able to navigate through the matrix. I call it a matrix because you're going to always be affected by programming, but it's all about the programming that you choose. The next one that we went into, so then we went into dark psychology because I wanted to just show how people use certain techniques to get closer to you. Use gaslighting, use love bombing, use these different techniques to try and make different suggestions to try to make you put your guard down to be able to get their desired outcome. We see this in our jobs. We see this in authority figures. We see this in groups. We see this in sports. We see this in so many different ways. We see this in social media. All right. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. There with it, but let me see. Okay, and I wanted to just go into some of the tips. I'm just going to give a good little tips of thank you, Akima. Thank you. I'm about to end it in a moment here. I just want to make sure that you leave here and you can do something. You know what I mean? You can leave here and you can do something with this. Like you'll start noticing it more, but I want you to leave here and do something with this. So these are some of the tips and these are some of the things that I like to use. So tips for reprogramming the subconscious mind. First and foremost, believe in yourself. Understand what is holding you back so you can overcome it. Spend time in quiet self reflection, prayer, or meditation at least once a day. Spend some time with yourself. Guard everything that enters and leaves your mind. Not in a psychotic way, not in a overbearing way. Just be in control of yourself. Just know yourself. That's what it's about, knowing thyself. So guard everything that enters and leaves your mind. Choose your mental diet. Choose what I don't want to see this on my social media. I don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to be in this environment. Do that for yourself because it's key to creating your reality. Know what you want and be very specific with it. Be very specific with what you want. Use specific terms. Talk directly to your subconscious. At first, when I first started doing affirmations, I used to be like, I am rich, I am worthy, I am this, and it was just weak. It didn't carry no power. So I started saying things to myself that I knew would do it. You know what I mean? I started talking to myself. Hey, I'm gonna stand up for myself. I believe in myself. Can't nobody phase me. You can't see me. I started talking in my own language. That's another key. Talk these affirmations in your own language. Build yourself up. Build yourself up before you even begin your day. That's how you do it. Remove all sources of negativity from your life. I know you can't remove all, but remove it from your home. Remove it from your environment, your immediate environment. If you're in a space where you can't do that, make a little small space that's sacred to you, that's filled with nothing but positivity. Put good things right there. Put a poster up that you love. Put some pictures of people that you care about. Do these certain things to because all of these are imprinting in your subconscious mind. So when you put like these pictures on the wall back here, this is of a Queens. But when I walk by it, some might just see it as a picture. But when I walk by it, I know that it's imprinting in my subconscious mind to see myself as royalty. You feel me? Okay. Surround yourself with success minded people so your environment is key. Create a realistic plan to attain your deepest desire. So, realistic, that's what I say, but speaking in your own language. Be realistic. If you're trying to pay your rent, use your affirmation for paying your rent. Keep it basic. These things that you need, keep it basic. It doesn't have to be just all these big things. I'm a millionaire. No, keep it basic. If you want to fall in love, if you want a good date tonight, I had an affirmation for this to be a good class before it began. Just simple things. You see what I'm saying? So make a realistic plan so you don't get so much pushback. Take positive steps each day toward what you want to attract. The way to do this is by doing 3 small things every day towards the things that you want to attract. This can be some of the smallest things, but what they do is they imprint in your subconscious. So if you want to buy a house, look at the house. If you want to learn something, just look up a quick video, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, listen to it on the radio, listen to a podcast. Do 3 things towards it because it's imprinted into your subconscious mind and then it'll start showing up more. Okay, focus on the present and if as if you've already attracted the things that you want. We talked about this with visualization. We talked about this with mental imagery. That's why it's so powerful, because it doesn't know the difference between if you're doing it now or if you're just imagining it. So you'll have the same emotional reactions, which then will vibrate higher. It'll raise your vibration. Okay. Create visual reminders of your goal. That's what I was talking about with the posters and different things in your house, different sticky notes. That's why people use these different things of that nature. Avoid conflicting messages by matching your feelings with your desires. Also here, write a script about your success as if it's already happened. So doing scripting, writing things down about your success as if it's already there, as if it's already happened. And be an advocate for yourself and also practice gratitude. Last thing I want to do right now, Last thing I want to do right now is just go over modern tips to reprogram your subconscious mind, and we're gonna end it. You guys good with that? You guys good with these last tips right here before we go? I know it's 10 o'clock. You good? Okay. Okay, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody sticking around too. That's real, man. Y'all listen to me for 3 hours. I thank y'all. I thank y'all for that. I'm so excited about that. But Carolyn, I'm gonna go. I appreciate you, Carolyn. I'm gonna go ahead and break down these three modern ways to reprogram your subconscious mind. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. You said you didn't know what to expect, but I'm glad you got some wisdom out of it. And I hope you look at this later. I hope you read the book. I can tell in your voice that you might be younger. So the earlier you learn this, the better it is, my man. The better it is. I promise you. But okay, so let's look at the modern ways to reprogram your subconscious mind. This is some of the ways that you can use. So you can set the alarms on your phone to remind you to meditate or to do your affirmations. So just setting reminders on your phone to just kind of trigger you to say, oh, I didn't do my affirmations today. Oh, I didn't do these things today. Just setting alarms and things like that. Turn your passwords into positive words. You use a password every day. So you go to work, you use something powerful. Use powerful or wealthy or whatever, something that talks to you, individual to you. But you use your passwords to do this because you're always typing in your passwords. You see these little subtle ways that you can do that? Okay, hang positive images in your home. We already talked about that. Positive images in your home, in your room. Positive imagery is always key. Although you may get used to seeing it, but this is going into your subconscious. Believe that. Make your screen lock page a picture of your goal list or something that you're trying to manifest. So your lock screen can be something that you're trying to manifest or something that you're proud of, because you're always looking at your phone. You're always going to look at your lock screen. These are all ways to reprogram your subconscious mind. Play music with repetitive mantras in it. Like all I do is this is older, but I said all I do is win, 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 no matter what. That's kind of corny song, but you get what I'm saying. Just play songs that have a repetition of something positive. Different songs will move you different ways, but if it moves your emotions, that's perfect, especially if it's moving your emotions in a positive way. It can be positive or negative. You can listen to somebody murder, murder, kill, kill, next thing you want to do it. You can listen to something positive, next thing you know, that can motivate you to go work out. So that's why people use these things. But use it with things that are mantras. Make your own songs. But I like that one. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Win, 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 no matter. You see how it's repetitious? Listen to tones in the background while you're doing another task. So listen to your subliminal affirmations while you're doing other things, so your conscious mind can be busy while your subconscious doing it. See me, while I'm at work or if I'm working or something like that, I'll play these tones in the background. I'll play these affirmations in the background, because at the end of the day, I know that it's working on my subconscious. I know that I'm going to feel better once I do this. And you're going to do the things that you're doing at that time with even more precision, because you embedding yourself with confident thoughts. You feel me? So, and then the next thing, download apps that send positive messages to your phone that are related to your goals. So there's so many apps out there for that, whatever that may be. You might follow somebody that does that. If you follow my group, I always try to put positive affirmations in there. I always try to have these challenges so we can have a group. See, I'm still using group think, but it's a positive group think. You see what I'm saying? This is a group, but it's a positive group. But do a voice memo. That's what we're doing right now in our group. Use voice memo to make an affirmation in your own voice. That goes back to what I was saying before when I was telling you about saying it in your own language. Saying it in your own language. Yeah, more people and more power. People slipping on what I'm giving. People be slipping on what I'm giving. I'm telling you, they are slipping on what I'm giving. um Music industry, there is a lot of low vibrationals and conscious bass. Yep, that's it, that's the truth. That's the truth right there. just by how the music is made and how the producers are using. And you say you in there make content off of this and also help some of my music producer friends. I feel like predominantly in the music industry, there's a lot of low. Boom, there you go. That's what they meant. They meant to do that. That's why it's being pushed so many times. That's why the negativity is always there. And if you do music that's positive. Start using a certain frequency that you're putting your music at. I don't know how to do these things exactly, so I get other people to do it. But if you know how to change the frequency range of songs, do that. Push that out there. If you know how to put things behind music, yeah, 432 hertz. There it is. There it is, right there. Put things behind the music, subliminal tones that are positive, and that will make your music go further too. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. People are just going to listen to your music and just feel an emotion and evoke the emotion. That's how you can use it positively. So if you, so bro, to make sure you're doing that, you know what I mean? If you know how to use music and you know how to use sounds, that's amazing because you can actually steer people's minds and you can steer your own mind. So that's perfect. But do a voice memo with your own voice and doing your own affirmations because your mind, you're always thinking in your own voice. So do a voice memo. Don't be scared of what your voice sounds like, but it makes it easier for it to sip into your subconscious. Start a group chat on social media. That's what I just talked about, which is like a mastermind alliance where you get like-minded individuals together because it raises the frequency and it raises those inputs. And then the last thing here. So just follow people on social media who inspire and educate you. Those are modern ways to reprogram the subconscious mind. And folks, I think that's it. I think I have went in. If I see anything else I want to add on to this or I want to send to you all, I put it in that email. But I more than anything thank you for sitting here for 3 hours to hear me speak. My videos didn't work correctly. Y'all still stuck with me just to hear my voice and hear me talking. So I thank you. I hope you'll be able to notice the power of reprogramming your mind. I'm going to start a group where we'll do this monthly where you won't have to pay, just like this. It'll be more so like a monthly thing that we're gonna have so I can get more in tune with everybody and know people. But you got any questions for me before I go? You got anything you want to say? Just go ahead and drop it in the chat. I can answer some questions now, or anything you got to say or want to talk about, or even if you want to get off mute or whatever you want to do. Let me know now. I'm trying to get y'all up out of here by 10. We good? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna send off an email for you all to join. Also follow me on social media if you're not following me. If you're not following me on there. Uh, well, with the recording, it usually take me a couple of days though, bro. They usually take. Oh, you're a produce. I see it now. Produced by Drum. I like that. Produced by Drum. Y'all go check him out. But yeah, the recording. I'll probably have to wait a little while because it take a little time for it to download here. I usually take about 1 or 2 days because I like to put all the material together and make sure I give you all the books. Inside the email, you're going to get the Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I didn't go too much into William Walker's book, Subconscious and the Superconscious, but I think it is good to know about because it talks about the subliminal self, which I wish I would have talked about, and it also talked about a couple of other things. But I know you all probably want to study that yourself. You'll also get my book, Mind Alignment: Wake Up Your Stolen Greatness Through Mind Power, as well as this workbook that goes perfect with what we discussed, and it kind of goes over those modern techniques as well as visualization, stress management, emotional balance, and you can do this all with yourself. Y'all got anything else for me before we exit out? Bro, say you need all them books. I thank you, Akima. I thank you for sticking with me. I thank y'all so much. Y'all don't know how much this mean to me. Sometimes I have my doubts. Sometimes I think, man, they ain't gonna understand this, or maybe I'm not teaching it right. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't know how much. But yeah, when we start the group though, it might be like $25 a month, something simple like that. But every month I'm gonna come with that because then I can keep building on these things. I can keep building on these things so then we'll have a better understand. I made it really easy to understand. Perfect. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I was hoping my language and my dialect will be able to make it easier for people to understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk just like you. I'm just like you. I learned these things 10, 15 years ago and it changed my life. It changed my life, man. It changed my life. I just say I changed my life. I got a family. I like my job. I made some money. I make money doing things I love. I got 200,000 people following me. You know what I'm saying? It's just all comes from these things that I'm telling you now, and I'm getting better at it. You know what I mean? I'm not all the way 100% sure, but I'm getting better. Very good with the sections and topics, explaining it. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. I wanted to make sure, man, make sure I had, an understanding that it was in the sections so you'll know the build up to all of this. It was about the subconscious, it's about the mind control, it's about the dark psychology, and then it's about the methods that you can use to reprogram yourself. So I thank y'all. This platform I'm using called Go Brunch. Y'all can look into it if you got classes you want to teach or anything like that. But yeah, that's basically it. You got anything else you want to say or any other questions? Anybody? This was lovely. This was lovely. I had another hour in me of just going in on the next book, but it's all good though. But I thank you, Jenny. I thank everyone for staying. Make sure you have a good rest of your, now I want to help teach this as well as enjoy growth and helping others. Yeah, man, you can teach this. Like once you start knowing it to the T, or once you start understanding this and you start really researching this, you'll be able to see through the world. Like you'll be able to see like these glasses, like on the movie They Live. Look at the movie They Live. They talk about putting on the glasses and being able to see everything. They Live. Watch that movie tonight if you never seen it. They Live. It might be on YouTube. It's an old movie with Roddy Piper in it, from wrestling. So yeah, guided night, beautiful people. Thank you, Akima. I thank you, Jenny. I thank you, Sajai Songbird. I thank you, Carolyn. I thank you, everybody that was here before, and I'll send you the recording so you can look at this again. But you all make sure you enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Peace, family. Mystic, you just get here? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? I'm sorry if you just got here, but like I said, I'm going to be sending this off to everyone.